Welcome back, everyone, to the Fantasy Crossover Podcast. We are your co host, Danny, and this is Brian for the first time together in the same room. Today, we have a really exciting episode, guys. This is an episode for our league, our podcast league. So, essentially, a league made up of followers or just people that were interested in participating in the league. Firstly, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that was interested and reached out, or that just is going to participate with us. So I'm going to give everyone a call out right now. Ben, Nathan, Steven, Jacob, Juan Carlos, Ofer, Brian, obviously, Kyle, Mark, and William, and I'm forgetting one team, and Andrew. Thank you guys so much for participating. We're really excited to have you guys. We're really excited to kick this draft off. I know that basketball season's a great time for all of us. And as you guys can see from the screen, we have about a minute and a half left until the draft starts. Brian, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
No, man, not really. I'm just excited to get started. We've been building this up for quite a while. So thank you again, kind of like Danny said, to everybody that joined and is participating. We are ready to get this started. And it's cool to finally have a draft with everybody. And, everybody's invested because this is going to be our league now. So, definitely make sure you guys are making the right picks. And I know everybody's probably going to listen to this after the draft and kind of see our thoughts. But I'm excited to see where everybody's strategy's at and where certain players go. There's going to be some interesting picks made, I think.
I completely agree. Obviously, as you guys can see from the screen, it is an auction style draft. So again, we are going to be budgeting our money appropriately for each player. And prior to, as you saw in most of our mock drafts, there were some people checking in, some people checking out. Everyone's in this draft live right now. I think we're waiting on one person that should be jumping on at any second now. But again, everyone's ready to go. Everyone has their strategy, whether they're going to punt categories or, they have specific players that they have their eyes set on. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get this draft started. Let me just quickly mute my audio. But, yeah, let's get this draft started, and let's see who the first nomination is right away.
And the way I like to have it sorted, obviously Yahoo gives you projected stats, average stats for last year, and their total stats for last year. I like to sort it based off average stats. And right off the bat, man, that was if I nominated first, I was going to nominate Kyrie Irving. Let's get the ball rolling here. Let's see where people's values are at for Kyrie Irving.
As you guys can see, the reports and the rumors around Kyrie are wild right now. We have it up on the screen that Kyrie could consider retirement if traded, supposedly. It hasn't been vaccinated from what we've read so far, and he actually missed a vaccination appointment that was scheduled for him. So, it's not looking good for him right now. But regardless, if he is on the court, you know what kind of value you are getting with Kyrie Irving. I believe he finished in the top 10 last year for in general in 9 category leagues, like a great all-around player. It's just he is sporadic. He's controversial. There's not much more we can say about him. His current bid is up to $26 that Nathan has. Yeah, I mean, it's really a roll of dice. It's really a gamble that you're taking right now with Kyrie.
I think this is so fascinating that Kyrie went first, and I think that we're probably not the only draft that it's going to go like this. It's a really smart strategy, kind of feel out where everybody's at, and obviously Kyrie being a risk at this point in time, it's interesting. It looks like $28 for Kyrie Irving, Nathan.
And wow. You know what? That might be a steal when we look at this later on. Great call out from everyone just saying fantastic first nomination. Like it really was a great play. And it's kind of fun, right? Like just playing on current situations. Who knows, right? Like it could go one of two ways.
Yeah. Now we're at Giannis. I'm gonna get the ball rolling here with Giannis. I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's set a standard at $50 and let's see who came to play. Let's see.
Giannis is projected salary is 60, but he's typically been going for $66 in most leagues. With Giannis, you know what you're getting. You're getting top 10 production. The only downside to Giannis is his free throw percentage. But apart from that, man, I mean, the guy does it all. He even knocks down threes. I mean, he's not the greatest shooter, but he can get you one or two here and there. Obviously, Giannis's value is being kind of captivated in this draft. As you guys can see, for audio listeners, he's going for 56 right now, 57, 58. I currently put in a bid. That's way too low, in my opinion, for Giannis. I just had to get in there.
Agreed. That's why I wanted to start it at 50. I saw with Kyrie, it was a very slow, gradual increase. Let's not play games here, guys. We know Giannis is going to go for 60 or more, so let's make sure that he's going at the proper value here. So, hey, at 61, I feel good with Giannis. So if no one wants to bid up on that, I will gladly take him at $61.
I'm blown away that certain people are just waiting till the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
second
yeah.
to put in that bid. You never know, a lag here or an internet spike there, it could make or break the difference between someone ending up with Giannis that wanted him and someone that might not.
Yeah. I'm going at 63 for Giannis. And you know what? At that point, if no one wants to bid up on him, I feel like I got a good value there. Yep.
There you go.
6. Wow. I really thought he was going to go higher. All right. And then, so to be clear, I had a certain strategy in mind coming in, but now, obviously, based off having Giannis as my first pick, I can definitely go kind of a punt free throw and punt 3-pointer strategy. So, now with that first pick being out, I can kind of tailor who I'm picking with my next pick.
Oh, man. So the next pick, Ja Morant. And funny enough, the guy that nominated him was Steven. Steven and us, we've had an interesting conversation around Ja Morant. I'm not crazy about Ja, but again, right now his value is way too low in my opinion. I'm done bidding on him personally, but we're pretty on the fence about Ja. We think that he's going to finish probably around top 100, but barely cracking it. Whereas when you look at other guys that are similar in his position that do very similar things, and we have them ranked higher, it begs the question as to why. Again, it's a very controversial point, nonetheless, but it's interesting that they're getting some of these guys right out the way.
And now Ja at $21. Hey, I mean Nathan started out aggressive here with his first couple of picks. He's got 2 of the first 3 players off the board. He's got Kyrie Irving and Ja Morant. A very interesting strategy to start with those 2 guys. Very polarizing players, especially in the fantasy realm. So going to be interesting to see where Nathan goes with his next pickup. And I'm going to actually take a look here at some of these budgets.
Oh man, Jokic is on the board. He's already going for $60.
Yeah, that's no surprise there.
At this point, we know what you're getting with Jokic.
Yep.
Arguably the top fantasy player for the last couple of years. Absolutely. He can make or break a league, honestly. He does everything so well. I personally see no holes in his game.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm gonna get involved in the Jokic.
Man, $71. Brian's getting aggressive. I appreciate that. Let's see what Brian's team is. He has Giannis and Jokic, I believe.
I'm gonna let Steven have him at 72. Steven wants him at 72. We let it happen, and we go from there. All right, so be it. Jokic off the board, number 1 projected pick goes off at $72. Let's see who Juan nominates here with this next pickup.
And just to review essentially how the picks have gone so far, guys. Kyrie went at $28. Giannis went at 63. Ja Morant went at 21, and Jokic just went for 72. Next on the board, we have KD. Someone just. I think the strategy is people are just hiking up his value, right? People put in that initial bid of $1. Let's be real, KD's not going anywhere close to that value. So right now he's at $51, $52. I think he's probably going to end up closer to that 60 range if I had to put my money on it.
I agree.
The only thing really holding KD back is injury. If he doesn't get injured, I mean, you saw it last year when he did play. The man was lights out. He put up in every category, and he is just an efficient beast.
Man, I would love to pair Giannis with KD. I think that would actually be a very interesting strategy, but I'm just going to unveil my strategy here. I'm definitely hiking it up. I see that Juan is definitely bidding on KD. He nominated him, and he got him at 59. So pretty close to where we thought he was going to end up. He's been going in the 58 to low 60s range. Let's see where Ofer goes with this next nomination.
Jason Tatum, very interesting nomination here. Again, JT is projected to have easily a top 15 finish this year. As you guys can see from his stats, he pretty much does it all in terms of scoring. You would like to see a little bit more contribution in some of the other stats, like his defensive stats and probably his assists, but you'll take it nonetheless. You know what areas are his strong suits and essentially how you would need to build your team around him if you do draft him.
Agreed. And the one thing that just came out, actually, Jaylen Brown tested positive for COVID. So that's something to take into consideration. I know a lot of people are going to be drafting, and Jaylen Brown's been on a lot of people's eyes, so that's something to consider. And Jason Tatum just went for $50, guys, $50. I just based off the first few nominations and the first few bids, I'll say that this draft so far, compared to some of the other salary cap drafts I've done, has been a little bit more conservative. That could mean that a lot of guys are holding out for some of these mid-round picks. But let's see. You never want to be left out of some of the top guys either.
And just with that, to follow up, Luka Doncic was nominated next. He's currently on the board for $60. That's where his value is at. With Luka, very similar to Giannis, you're pretty much punting your free throw category. I'm not letting him go for $61.
Yeah, so. that would have been a pretty good value for Luka there. Man, I'm tempted. I'm tempted myself. I already have a bad free throw shooter with Giannis. Why not pair these two young stars together? I mean, I do have a certain price though, and it's starting to kind of approach that. So we'll see how much higher it goes from the $64 that he's at now. I'm also looking. Ofer, nominated him. It looks like that's who we wanted. So I'm going to nominate someone that's a little bit more controversial here. I'm going to go with someone who's been a little injury prone. I'm going to nominate Joel Embiid. The other reason for that strategy is I already have Giannis, and I think Giannis gives me a lot of categories that a big could give me. And I want to see what people think of Embiid this year.
This guy I was going to bump his value up to 45. Someone just beat me to the punch and put him at 55.
That's richer. Hey, you know what? It doesn't look like anyone else was even thinking of that because no one even bid against him. At $55, Joel Embiid's next guy off the board. Still have really big names, really big stars on the board. James Harden, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kat, Paul George, AD. I mean, it's going to be interesting. The guys have been nominating some lower named guys, and now Damian is next on the board here.
All right, let's just bump up the.
Man,
this guy beat me to the punch. He knew.
Yep.
I personally, so my draft strategy, I might as well get it out of the way right now. I want one of those point guards or guards in with my top 10 pick. That's kind of where my bread and butter is right now. If I don't get a point guard or a guard, I would definitely love to have at least like a small forward, power forward type player. I'm a little bit, bearish on the centers like this high up, but I know their value. I'm all in on Dame though. I'm all in on the point guards. Like that's where I definitely want to build around, just because the categories that they do get you, the free throws, the threes, the points, those are categories that I feel very comfortable building around. And I personally think I got a great value for Dame. He was his average salary was $59. I got him for $54. I'll take a couple dollars here or there just to round it out personally.
So my only concern with Dame, outside of getting into semantics with his position, he's only a point guard. The other thing with Dame is while his free throw shooting and his 3-point status is elite, not great with rebounds, not great with steals and blocks. So Danny's definitely going to have to focus on that unless he goes the punting strategy where he doesn't really focus on defense. I know there was a draft where Danny got both Dame Lillard and Harden, so curious to see if that's going to be a guy that he looks at here, especially with the risk going on with Kyrie Irving. James Harden's already up to $54 now and rising.
So I think I got a great deal for Dame. With James Harden at $61, I think I got a great deal for Dame personally.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm just taking a look at James's numbers. I'm like, how would he pair with a guy like Giannis? And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it at 63. Someone wants him worse though, and I think I'm gonna let him slide. I had a number, and that's where I feel comfortable with.
People are projecting that he's gonna have a monster year with Kyrie possibly out. It'll be interesting. Something that people often forget is one, James Harden did have that hamstring injury towards the end of the season last year. Yep. Hamstring injuries are tricky. They're nagging injuries. Sometimes they take a little longer to heal than you would expect. But then two, and more importantly, Harden, he doesn't tend to lean towards being the most fit or the most in shape for the most part. So those are things that you do need to consider. as you like when you draft him. Overall, you know what you're getting with him, but there's just some injury concern given his like physique and just his commitment and also his injury history.
And one of my favorite players, LaMelo Ball, is on the board. He has already exceeded his draft projection of 33. He's now at $34 and counting. As much as I got LaMelo in some of these mock drafts, I'm going to let him slide at this price. I have a different strategy in mind for my roster. So Jacob got LaMelo Ball for $34. We're seeing some really controversial guys going up. So I really like this strategy. In a lot of the mock drafts I've done, people just kind of pick the top guy available. So it's been cool to see some other guys go on the board first and then see how the draft strategy pans out from there.
Hey, and you know what? LaMelo might be quite the steal at $34. Like he easily could have an amazing breakout performance at the end of the year. So right now we have Zach LaVine. You know, I'm a little bit like hesitant on all Bulls players this year. I don't know how they're gonna mesh. I don't know how it's gonna play out. So that being said, Zach LaVine's going for $30 currently. It'll be interesting to see essentially where he ends up. But two, like, what are the values for the other Bulls players? Because if you think about it, they could have a big four in their hands in Chicago with Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball.
I think my only concern, and we've kind of touched on previous episodes, by the way, Zach LaVine went for 33. Nathan has by far been the most aggressive team in the draft so far. He's got Kyrie, Zach LaVine, and Ja Morant. So definitely going guard heavy. So knowing that, you've got to think that he's got a big in mind with one of his next pickups. But you got to take into consideration his budget's down to 118. He has one of the lowest left, along with Jacob. So we'll see where it goes. But as far as the Bulls go, man, I feel really good about LaVine. I think he's going to be efficient. I don't think his numbers will match where he was last year, but as far as the rest of the Bulls, Lonzo looks pretty good in preseason thus far, but it is still preseason. DeMar DeRozan is probably the guy that I see falling the most based off his numbers last year, considering his situation in San Antonio and how much usage he has. So I don't know. I don't think I have those guys on the board as high as other people, but we'll see. And wow, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just went for $31. I feel like that happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his draft position overall, his projected salary was $31. His average salary is $30. So no big shocker there. The biggest concern with Shai is obviously injury history and like possibility for shutdown. You know, with Shai, he did have a pretty injury-prone year last year, and also with OKC not really going anywhere this year, you have to wonder if he's going to get shut down. Steph Curry on the board right now for $65. I repeat, $65. I am happy I got Dame for 54.
There you
like
go.
The more and more I see some of these players,
I know.
Steph just went for 65. Wow. Obviously, great value. Steph is arguably the best three-point shooter in the league. But man, like that's just crazy in my opinion.
Wow. Let me see. Yeah, LaMelo at 34. I'm looking back at some of the recent picks. Still a good value. LaVine at 33. If he plays anywhere near where he played last year, at 33 is a great value. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a really efficient shooting when it comes to the point guard position at 31. And like it was good to see Steph, one of the last top players on the board, finally go off. So now that some of these first round picks are gone, where are you at, Danny? What are you thinking as far as some of these next guys that we might see come off?
I love Trae Young right now. I think his value, man, someone might get a steal for him at $37. Yeah. Honestly, I would love to take him, but to the point that you made about my team, Dame is a point guard only player. So to have Trae Young another point guard only, it definitely puts me like behind the eight ball. I definitely don't want to be caught in that situation midseason, but man, I have to bid on this. Oh man. Like Trae Young below $40, I'm sorry. There's no way I'm letting that slide.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna go for that low. And considering I got a guy who has a pretty low field goal percentage, Trae Young is a guy that I have in mind.
I think you're gonna get him. Dame Dollar just came in. I don't need Trae Young. I would love to have him, but I don't need him personally. So
agreed. I'll let him slide at that. I'm not gonna bid. I'm not gonna bid against him there at 42. I think. Hey, I had Trae Young last year. We'll see how he does. I'm also concerned with the new NBA rules. How is that going to affect his game? You just don't know.
All right. Next up, we have Anthony Davis. We know what you're getting with Anthony Davis, like if healthy, but that's the big if. I personally think that last year was an anomaly. I mean, they were coming off a very shortened offseason with, I believe, only 2 months. So they've had the Lakers obviously got bounced in the first round. He's had plenty of time to heal up. He's a beast all around. He gets you blocks, he gets you efficient scoring, efficient free throw percentage, efficient rebound. So I think his value is definitely there. I would love to pair him alongside Dame at this value, like at this price. So I don't know. He's trending upwards of $51. He's currently at 52. So he might be a little bit rich for me personally. But I think we can both agree Anthony Davis is the top Laker to have in this draft.
Absolutely. And AD had a rough year last year. The biggest concern, and as everyone kind of knows, is his injury, his durability. If he can finish and sustain a full season, he's absolutely worth a top 15 pick. But again, the concern is whether or not he's going to actually make it a full year. But at $58, that's probably a little richer than I would like to spend on AD. I felt like Giannis at 63 is a good value in comparison. So that's one thing that you're going to have to look at is how you build your roster from there. So
Man, but Ofer is at $78. He has two top 10 players potentially with Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis.
yeah,
So, he spent a lot of his budget, but man, like he might win the league just based off of those two picks alone.
we got a funny comment in the chat for those of you on audio. William said, "Man, I don't even know if AD can walk half the time." I mean, it's true. You always see him kind of limping or just barely hobbling off the floor, and
Someone just made another
yeah,
comment.
Yeah. Nathan brought up a good point. Russell's going to steal his rebounds. I would argue Russell and AD may offset each other a little bit, much like the Chicago Bulls situation. You just don't know. It's their first year together, so we don't know what that scenario is going to look like. And now it looks like Juan has nominated Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz.
Where are your eyes with Donovan? Like, what's your take on him?
He's someone that you and I kind of discussed about. We know what he brings to the table. If you need scoring, he's going to be a great facilitator in that regard. Also high usage in Utah. I don't love what he brings to the table defensively, though. And it doesn't feel like he exceeds at other categories outside of scoring. That's really my biggest concern in a category league.
All right, next up we have Karl Anthony Towns nominated.
Yeah. Oh man, Cat averaged 25 and 10 last year, 2.5 threes, pretty good shooter. I mean, not elite shooter for a big, I'd say. And then obviously the clear number one in Minnesota. There's not that many clear number ones that are left on the board. So Karl Anthony Towns is kind of a later auction now. So let's see. He goes at 56.
That's great value.
Yeah.
Pretty
I would
pretty
say
good
so.
value in my opinion. Just given, I think we're in the second round already, so for him to just be nominated goes back to the point you made. This is a very methodical, very like strategy driven draft. People have been nominating all over the place, so definitely interesting to see where people's heads are at. Right now we have Bradley Beal. This is someone that pretty much just a scorer all around, great efficiency all around, gonna get you 3-pointers. So depending on where his value is, I might take a look at him, honestly.
Which is interesting because in our last draft, Danny had a choice, had Bradley Beal as the top-ranked player, and he instead decided to go with Jimmy and Vucevic. So interesting to see. Strategies change. And as you guys see, from mock draft to mock draft, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It always depends on how your team is looking, and then you can kind of go off of that. I'm going to go ahead
He just went for $40, FYI, so great value.
So I'm going to nominate a controversial player here. I'm going to nominate Russell Westbrook. I'm going to see where people's heads are at with Russ here. And I'm going to go ahead and just up the value here to 20 and see, hey, is anyone willing to go higher? And it looks like that is the case so far. 25 for Ofer. Juan and Ofer having a little bit of a bidding war here for Russell Westbrook. Let's see who ends up getting him.
I have a feeling that Ofer is driving up the price just given what his team is currently built like.
Agreed.
He did take two guys, AD and Luka, so I don't know if necessarily he would want Russell Westbrook, but at $28, that might be a steal.
That could be a steal, man. He gives you so many categories. Again, there's categories that he really hurts you in, but when he's on with rebounds, assists, and points, honestly, he's gonna rock it. Another controversial guard, Colin Sexton. Interesting selection there by Kyle to nominate him this early. What are your thoughts on him, Dan?
So I don't have him as my number one in Cleveland. I have him more like my number 3, actually. I prefer Jared Allen over him in terms of value. But I'm curious to know if he ends the year with Cleveland. because he's been the speculation around a lot of trade rumors. So maybe he gets up out of there and his value just goes up once again.
So I think something Kyle might be taking into consideration by making that nomination was the fact that this is a contract year for Colin Sexton. He's also a player that's gotten better every single year. So definitely an interesting strategy to nominate a younger player like that this early and see, hey, maybe I can get a good deal. Maybe players are trying to hold on to their cash this early to get some of these bigger name guys, and then we go from there. Oof. Michael Porter Jr. just nominated by Danny. Uh, Another player who's obviously on track for a pretty big year this year, especially with Jamal Murray out. Let's see where the bidding goes with MPJ here, man.
I think MPJ is going to probably outperform his like value. Like
Yeah.
where people have him ranked, I think he outperforms that.
I agree, man. I agree. So we'll see. We'll see where he's at. He's at 28 now. I've seen Porter Jr.
He's at $30 right now.
Yeah, I've seen him go for as high as $40 in some leagues. So it's going to be curious to see where people at. I have a certain strategy. As much as I want MPJ, I have a certain strategy that I have in mind that I'm going towards with my second best player here. So we'll see. But I don't think he's going to go at 33. I think this number is going to keep creeping up a little bit, and we go from there. Oof. $33. Danny got his guy that he nominated. So hey, listen, a little risky, but I think he's gonna end up being a good value when you take into consideration all 82 games. And then Danny now has Dame Lillard and MPJ. As of right now, I've kind of settled with Giannis. I'm playing the field and I'm seeing what's the best value available. As of right now, Roto Kyle and I have the most money left. Roto Kyle only has he has Colin Sexton and he has Bradley Beal. So an interesting strategy to start. A guy that a lot of people really like this year, Bam Adebayo, is now on the board, and he's already at over $30. Wow.
I would love to have Bam personally, but he's not gonna fit with what I'm going for right now, unfortunately.
Wow. Bam is going a lot higher than I hoped he would.
He's at $41.
I was really looking.
I feel good about some of my picks, man. I just keep coming back to like some the value of where some other players are going. Granted, Bam does everything, guys. Like I can't emphasize that enough. I don't see any holes in Bam's game, but again, like he's not going to get you threes. That's probably the only hole I see. But like he gets you defensive stats, he gets you good field goal efficiency, he gets you solid free throw efficiency, and gets you good points. Like he does it all. But at $42, damn, Brian.
Yeah, and I definitely, again, this goes back to the strategy of Giannis and Bam both take a lot of shots. They both shot 57% last year. They're not going to shoot threes, so I'm punting threes at this point in time. They both average about 20 boards combined. So all in all, a steal and a block each as well. It gives me more confidence that later on in the draft, I don't have to reach for defensive specialists because I have two anchors in Giannis and Bam to kind of lead my bigs.
Okay. Hey, solid strategy. Like very solid strategy. I know I have a couple players in mind that I want to. My team's pretty offense oriented right now with Damian Lillard and Michael Porter Jr. So I definitely need some defense later on. Switching gears though, LeBron James is currently nominated. He's at $40. This is insanity.
Yeah, this is one that I talked to Juan about before the draft. I told him, I said, Bron does everything, but he doesn't get you great free throw percentage. And, it's interesting that Juan has actually decided to pair LeBron James with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. So he is definitely going to the top-heavy approach. He's going to the top-heavy approach, and he still has $73 to spend to fill out his roster. So it's actually not too bad as of right now. He's got a lot of guys that may rest a lot of games because they're older. But
that's my only concern, right?
Yeah.
Like the only concern is these guys have some glaring issues about them.
Agreed. That is for sure.
Oh, one of my favorite players on fantasy. I love Richaun Holmes. I think his value is great. Just he does what you need out of him. He's currently going for $20. I'm gonna see where this bid ends. I could easily see myself. Okay, if he's at 20, I'll definitely bid. But I think there's better centers left on the board right now. So maybe I'll see if some of these guys end up using more money than they'd like. I tried to bid. Unfortunately, it was a second too late.
Just missed it. And, Richaun Holmes, if you guys have been keeping up with the podcast, is a guy that Danny has been very high on. He's not very high upside, but he's very reliable, very consistent, and he has a specific role in Sacramento. Speaking of reliable and consistent, we have the multiple Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, now on the board. What do you think, Danny? Where's your value at for a guy like Rudy?
I think at this point, Rudy's probably going to go up of his value. I could see him easily cracking like $37, just because I feel like a lot of guys need centers, especially centers that contribute some of these stats. So I'm going to wait to see kind of where this goes. And I would love to get in on this Rudy Gobert sweepstakes, but let's just see where the value lies.
Yeah, man. Let's see. And I'm looking down. I'm just looking down at some guys, just trying to get an idea. You never want to get too excited, guys. There's gonna be value later in the draft, so you don't want to spend your money right away. You're gonna have guys like Mikal Bridges later. You're gonna have guys like Darius Garland that haven't been nominated. OG Anunoby, obviously.
All right, so I got him for $35.
Wow.
I feel good about it. I'm at $78 now. I have 3 players drafted, so I'm pretty solid, but I have 2 great scores, and then I have a very solid anchor to round them out. And what I like about my team right now is the fact that the one thing that's glaring about Rudy Gobert, his free throw percentage, Damian Lillard and Michael Porter Jr. kind of nullify that for the most part.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
Now one of Danny's boys, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, is on the board. He's already at 35, which is right where Gobert went. Let's see if that number goes up a little bit. Steven likes him at 36. So kind of curious to see if anyone's willing to top that. I think Butler had a great year last year. I think he's still going to be a top 30 player this year, even with a guy like Kyle Lowry being added. But something you got to consider with Jimmy is his durability. He always just has had, some nagging injuries throughout the years, different stuff that's just popped up. And on a team like Miami, do they really need him to play every game? I don't think so, not in the regular season. And that's actually part of the strategy. It's part of the reason why I didn't want to go after guys on such winning teams necessarily, because sometimes at the end of the year they can kind of coast a little bit. I like to go for those players on teams that are kind of like on that borderline, maybe like a Pacers, a Raptor team, a team that's trying to make the playoffs. I think those are the types of guys that are going to get the most minutes because their team needs them.
I agree, and I think a huge thing about Miami, they have a lot of question marks. Obviously, They made a huge addition with Kyle Lowry, who is a point guard that does a little bit of everything. He's going to take away some of the assists. He's going to take away some of the boards, some of the scoring. So how does that impact the value of Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler this year? That's a big question mark. I don't know the answer to that, but that's something that you have to factor in as you are bidding for him.
Absolutely. And now we have a Devin Booker, another guy who's on a pretty good team himself, going at $20 right now. His number's slowly increasing. I find it interesting that Nathan is involved in this, considering he has Kyrie, Zach LaVine, and Ja Morant. Maybe he has Booker to sort of hedge his bet against maybe if Kyrie doesn't play. Interesting strategy, but Nathan has not gone with any bigs yet, and he is heavily involved in this bidding war for Devin Booker.
Devin Booker at $27 might be a steal.
And now it's at 28. Let's see. Man, Nathan has his eyes set.
I like Nathan's strategy, though. He's bumping up the value of certain players before their steals. Steven just slid in for a solid $29. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the players you have your eyes on right now, Brian?
I don't want to give away too much intel here. Danny hasn't really disclosed that. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm looking for guys that are in line with a Giannis and a Bam. I think a guard would probably be the next strategy for me, just to kind of give me that. If I don't get a good guard, I'll probably look at a wing. Obviously, a Paul George is still available. I don't think I'm going to get Paul George at a good value because there's guys that still have way too much money. Kyle has $148. Mark has $136. Steven has $126. So I think those are going to be guys that are kind of waiting on a Paul George, Vucevic, Sabonis, Van Vliet. I think those are, and a Julius Randle. Those are kind of the top guys available. And I'm curious to see where they're at as far as their strategy next.
I would love to see, DeMontis bonus fall a little bit, but there's no way that's happening. Mm-hmm. So next on the board, we have DeAndre Ayton. He's currently valued at $27 with Jacob bidding on him. I prefer Ayton over Devin Booker in terms of value, and I think that he got a great steal at $27.
I agree. I'm curious to see, and especially with Ayton, there's obviously been some information about his contract, whether or not the Phoenix Suns are going to go ahead and offer him the max deal that he's been looking for. So Ayton does have a lot to prove this year. He's the young anchor on Phoenix, and considering Chris Paul, who just got nominated, is coming off a very short offseason, kind of like I mentioned on recent episodes, I think that they're going to put a lot on DeAndre Ayton's shoulders this during the regular season. So, like you said, 27 might be a really good pickup. Chris Paul's now at $20. He's obviously a guy that's going to give you assists and steals. So let's kind of see where they're at with that.
His free throw percentage is also crazy efficient,
Yeah,
above 90. And for the fact that he gets you so many assists and steals, but barely any turnovers, that in and of itself is a great value.
Agreed.
No, what just happened?
Refresh here. Nope. I think we're back in it.
Yeah, that was really weird. All right, so I thought CP3 just went for really cheap.
Yeah, I was a little concerned there.
Okay, so CP3, we had some technical difficulties just now for our audio listeners. CP3 is currently, he just went for $26, which was that a great steal? I don't know what's his projected value.
I actually didn't even see it, to be honest. Chris Paul is not a guy that I've been looking at, unfortunately, in any draft. So
let's see Steven's team real quick, just out of curiosity. Chris Paul, okay, so he was averaged to be around $28 in people spend, so pretty good value. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Zion Williamson nominated. They went right ahead. They went to the 30s. Obviously, with Zion, you're getting a tremendous field goal efficiency. You're getting tremendous scoring, some pretty solid rebounds, but his free throws are, they leave a lot to be desired. Some of his defensive stats could be better, and obviously the glaring thing with his game, injury concerns.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting now with Devontae Graham over there. By the way, I'm going to just quickly get this guy off the board. Paul George, best player available. Let's get some teams to spend some money here. That's my strategy. Let's up this here to 30, 35. Thank you, Dame Dollar. I appreciate it. 45. Do I hear 50? Let's up that bill. Let's up that bill rate for Paul George. I'd like to see some money come off the board, especially some of these guys that have one player, two players. I like Paul George, but after spending 100 on Giannis and Bam, I'm trying to spend a little bit less on my next player.
Paul George just went for 45. Zion went for 36. So, in my opinion, someone definitely overpaid on him, but maybe that's what they were going for, a specific category. Paul George, that could be a steal given what you and I have projected that he is going to be the workhorse in the Clippers lineup and just trying to get them to the playoffs ultimately.
I'm surprised Chris Boucher is going as high as he is, considering he's going to probably miss the first month of the season. I know he's very valuable in a lot of different categories, but just an interesting nomination there. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I've seen him go for $5 or $6 in a lot of drafts, so to see him go for $9 might have been a little bit of an overspend. But hey, maybe I'm wrong, and obviously it depends on your team and it depends on your strategy to see which player fits right for your roster. And now we have Clint Capella, another big. We may be seeing that run of bigs come through here.
That's what I'm pushing for right now. I want these bigs to come off the board. I want people to spend money on them. People, I don't know if some of these guys understand the value that some of these like mid-tier big players have. I mean, look, right now, Clint Capella for $17, that's a steal.
I agree.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put money on that.
I agree. He's been in the top 10 in the NBA in rebounds for pretty much as long as I can remember. He will get you rebounds. He'll get you blocks. Free throw shooting is atrocious, so don't rely much there. But when it comes to those specialists that you're looking for, we know what Clint Capella is going to bring to the table, and obviously a lot of teams see that.
I'm frustrating this guy.
Daniel's definitely driving up the price here. I want to see Kyle spend some money. He's still got $148. We have Steven at over 100. We have Dame Dalla at over 100. So there's some guys I want to get off the board. Vucevic is still available. Sabonis as well. Those are two bigs that I think are going to cost in the 35 to 40 range. So I want some money to fly off here. Let's see who gets nominated next here.
Ooh, one of our favorite players. Who nominated him?
Mark nominated DeJounte Murray. Ooh, I really like DeJounte Murray. I am thinking that because of the way my team is set up now, I don't need defense as much as I thought I would. So I may not bid as high on DeJounte Murray as much as I like him quite a bit.
I think they're going to drive his value.
I think he's going to be expensive. I think DeJounte Murray, his average value is 16.8. He's already at 18 and climbing. I'm kind of looking at his stats from last year. 45% from the field, a little under 80% from the line.
He went for $18.
Yeah, again,
He's going to be the number one in San Antonio.
He is. Him and Derek White are going to be the top guys. I like DeJounte Murray. I don't know if I would. I don't know. Maybe I should have bid on him, to be honest. We'll see.
De'Aaron Fox is next.
We'll see how this draft pans out here now. Wow, I didn't think DeJounte was going to go up that early. That's a little upsetting.
Oh no, someone left the draft, unfortunately. Hopefully their auto draft doesn't ruin everything for them, unfortunately.
Facts, absolutely. De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to get involved in De'Aaron Fox sweepstakes. I need a guard. So let's see. And he's not great with free throws either. So, I need some assists as well. And I'm going to get involved.
$30 though. You're willing to overpay on him.
I don't think that's necessarily a strong overpay, though. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be a guy that obviously contributes. I need assists. I need a guard. So
that's fair.
I feel good. He's going to be a top 40 player, I think, this year, and he's the clear number one in Sacramento as well.
So just like that, both Brian and I are under $80 with 3 players of our 13-man rosters selected. Brian, who do you have? De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, Antetokounmpo, and Bam. I have Damian Lillard, Michael Porter Jr., and Rudy Gobert. I think we're both off to really good starts. I don't think that one of our teams is strongly, outperforming the other. And right now we have Anthony Edwards nominated. Right now he's going for $22. Now, granted, if Edwards has a season kind of like how he ended up his season last year, this could be a way drastic underpay for him.
Agreed. And, just to give everybody insight, the other guy I was looking at with that guard position was Fred VanVleet. But my issue, because he really would have gone well with my strategy as far as needing another guard. But I don't love his assist numbers, and I don't think he's the facilitator that he could be for his position. I think Fox is a little bit better, and I think Fox is very motivated to have a monster year in Sacramento.
So this guy Andrew just called out the fact that he has Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know how I feel about that. Is he a Timberwolves fan? I don't know.
I don't know if I go with that strategy. But hey, let's see again. This is the beauty of the draft. The season is not won on the draft. Obviously, you can have a stronger draft than somebody else, but there's different ways. There's waiver wires. There's trades. I think the goal is to try to invest in the best players possible and try to build the best team possible to give you as many assets as possible as well.
I believe in Chris Finch, the coach that Gerson Rosas hired for Minnesota. You saw that team immediately turn around when he was hired. I like his philosophy. So I think that, Minnesota, do I believe that they're no longer a lottery team? No, I still think they are, but I think that they're trending in the right direction nonetheless.
Right.
We just saw Jaylen Brown go for $27. That might be great value once again. It's interesting that Kyle keeps calling out all these great values, but he's not spending. So I'm very curious what his strategy is.
So I think he has certain players in mind that he wants, and there is always going to be that one guy who, if you hold out and you get the players that you want, maybe like a Mikal Bridges, for example, you know that if you have more money than everybody else at the end of the draft, you can afford to get whoever you want. So it's an interesting strategy. It could work. It could pan out. But obviously, when certain guys get nominated early, it makes it harder to employ that type of strategy. So
Mikal Bridges at $13, $14. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I think Mikal Bridges is nice. I don't think he's a high enough valuable option in Phoenix, unfortunately. But I am going to bid on him because I need a wing, and I think he's a pretty good affordable price, and he could offer some solid upside. He doesn't hurt you in any categories either. So, that's something to take into consideration. I'm really happy I got Mikal Bridges, honestly, even at $15.
Yeah, I mean, you need to round out kind of your wings at that position. So I think you have 2 great anchors, and then you have some solid players in the wings. Next up, we have Tobias Harris. He's a guy that's been coming under a lot of scrutiny recently just because of the fact that people see Ben Simmons, how he underperformed in the playoffs, but now they're starting to realize Tobias Harris kind of underperformed, and he's kind of underperforming his contract. He is a max player in this league, guys. Yep. So you expect him to kind of be an equal to Joel Embiid's efficiency, even though he's not. Now, do I think that he's being used the right way? Probably not. I think he definitely has some grounds to cover. But for fantasy purposes, I think he does a little bit of everything. And he just went for $21. That's great value.
It'll be interesting to see the situation in Philly with Ben Simmons and how that affects Tobias. Obviously, we'll see how that goes, how that plays out as the season goes on. But I mean, as of right now, he's the pretty clear number two in Philly. And with Joel Embiid being injury prone, I mean, Tobias Harris could easily be option one in Philadelphia. So I think at $21, that's a
Oof,
hell of a deal.
a guy that I think we've all been waiting for.
Heavy hitter, a heavy hitter here, Domantas Sabonis.
Let's see if some of these guys, everyone except for Kyle, is under $100. So let's see if maybe Kyle gets. Oh yeah, I mean, I think Kyle's gonna win this.
I think Kyle has had his eye on a guy like Sabonis for sure.
I know I would have loved him, but like he wasn't a player in the cards for me.
my issue is with Sabonis is that he does too much of what Giannis does, and for me, I didn't want to just double down on that strategy. I wanted to kind of round out my team a little bit better. But my concern with Sabonis is how much improvement are we going to see from him from 3-point land? It's obviously been a focus of his over the summer, so I want to see how much it exactly he improves on. But that is going to be the big thing that determines whether or not he's going to be a top 30 player or a top 15 player. That's really what it boils down to.
Sabonis is currently valued at $33.
Good.
Let's keep jacking the price up. Let's get someone to spend.
As a Giannis and Bam Adebayo manager, I would love for Sabonis to go for 40. Let's keep going, guys. 35. That's what I'm talking about.
So it looks like Ben and Jacob really seem to have their eyes on him. They seem to like covet him quite a bit.
Exactly. And
36.
Still going. Everyone we have 7 out of the 10 teams have made a bid on Sabonis to give you an idea. So the people were waiting on him for sure.
Do you really count 2 of those guys since it was $1 and $2?
Yeah, you're right.
Sabonis just went for $36 to Andrew's team. Andrew does have 5 players selected, but he's got $25 left. His team seems pretty nice, though. He's got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Pretty solid value.
Absolutely.
Man. Very controversial player right now.
Oh, man.
Ben Simmons nominated for $8. Let's see how much people are willing to spend on him.
Absolutely, man. Let's see. This is going to be an interesting strategy for sure. Ben going this early. I've seen in quite a few drafts now where Ben has gone this early. To give you some insight on where my head's at, next player I'm going to nominate is going to be Nikola Vucevic if the next guy does not nominate him, because I want these bigs gone. I want people to bid high on this guy. His average projection is 43. So again, let's get this money off the board.
Ben's currently at $19, which right now he's above his average salary spent. But guys, circumstantially speaking, if he does go to the right situation, he blows this value out the water, and he's probably more like a $30, $35 player.
But there's the risk you take, And I saw that Kyle was bidding for Ben Simmons, but it looks like he kind of pulled off last second. He said, "Hey, I had a price, and it didn't hit that price." Looks like Nikola Vucevic, the guy I was about to nominate, just went off the board, so I'm very excited about that. Let's see where he goes here.
I think that Vucevic's value is the one that's least impacted in Chicago, just because he plays the big position.
That's very possible. It's very possible.
Now, granted, at $31, I don't know about that.
I know. I'm looking through the list.
$30 though, that's a steal.
Wow, that is a steal. He was going for 40 or more in some of the ones that I've seen. I'm going to nominate a guy that's a little injury prone but could be a league winner. I'm nominating Jaren Jackson Jr. I want to see where people's heads are at with JJJ.
And I think a bunch of us just noted that was a steal, whoever took him at $30.
Yep. Vucevic. Let's see, man. Again, the Chicago Bulls situation just scares me. I don't know. I know he's going to put up numbers. He probably is a great value at 30, but I don't know. I don't love the Bulls players this year.
Me neither, but I would have taken that. He went for cheaper than Zach LaVine. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Next up, we have Jaren Jackson Jr. 18.
I like it.
I have a really traumatic experience with him from last year.
Yeah. It happens.
So I don't want to touch him with the 10-foot pole, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he only played 11 games for context, and I held on to him in my IR spot, which is very painful just because I did spend quite a bit of money on him. I love his game. He's a 3-point shooter with some boards and some blocks. Now, he is prone to foul trouble, so that's the one thing he has to get under his belt. Just due to the fact that he'll foul out of games, or he plays very limited minutes because of that. He is in a contract year, so that might drive for him to have more, have more urgency to perform better. So we'll see. but Kyle just took him for $22.
High upside player. Again, if he's healthy, he could be a league winner because if you get him for $22 and you add him on to other top players, it could be a good value. And then Mitchell Robinson. Fun fact: I actually did a mock draft this morning. Salary cap on Yahoo. Mitchell Robinson went for $1. So obviously, I think he's well worth more than that, and I think it'll go to show. But the fact that he just got cleared for contact drills in New York, it's concerning. But man, it's $6.
I don't know about that because you also have to factor in the Thibodeau effect with Nerlens Noel, and Noel did get paid.
Yeah, it's going to be a 50-50 rotation there. I don't think Mitch is. Hey, at $6 though, it could be a value, especially if Noel gets hurt. Then you could see Mitch's his minutes spike up. But hey, I mean, at $6, it's a
good flyer.
Yeah, it's worth a flyer.
All right, I'm going to nominate a very controversial player. Let's see what people's opinion is of this man.
Let's see.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Ooh, I have a feeling Kyle has been waiting on this guy. Let's see if I'm wrong or right. Let's see. $4. This is going to be one of those slow churning.
I agree. I see that with him.
This is going to be, nobody wants to bid 15, but we'll see.
Oh, someone did.
Well, I guess I was wrong. Juana up the bids. He believes in Nurkic. Let's see. And it looks like other people are kind of on that same page, or they're simply driving up the price here. Let's see where he goes.
And this is a guy that I saw on the board. I was like, he has to go next.
Yeah, $20. I like it. Let's get these centers off the board. Fred VanVleet, by the way, guys, still on the board. Julius Randle still on the board. Brandon Ingram still on the board. For the audio listeners, still a lot of tremendous value. So there's really no need to overspend on any of these guys.
Yeah. So looks like Nurkic is about to go for $22 to Steven.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We'll see if that's good value at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to depend on his injuries.
It's very speculative.
That's it. I can't take the risk. I know if he plays the games, he's going to be worth it. But if not, you don't know.
Oof! So someone right off the bat nominated OG for $10.
Oh man, this is a tough one. He's going to go for a lot. This is my prediction.
I think he's going to be overpaid here.
I think he is, and it's sad because I need him. I want him badly, but there's guys like Ingram and Middleton still available, so you don't want to overspend for him either. It's
not just yet.
Tough call.
I mean, he's going for $23 right now.
Man. I know.
He went for 23.
I kind of wanted him.
You wanted him at that price?
I would have wanted him at 24. He's with Siakam out for the first couple months. Boucher's out. OG has had a really good preseason. Again, I know it's preseason, but I think that's a pretty good value. And I think guys like Ingram and Middleton are going to go for more than OG just did. I'm kicking myself over that one. Another Toronto Raptor on the board now, Fred VanVleet. Let's see where people's heads are at with VanVleet here, man. I could use him. I mean, I'm punting. Well, actually, no, I'm not punting field goals. No, VanVleet would not be of a good usage for me here.
I'm not very crazy about VanVleet. Like, I like him, but I have my eyes set on other guards. Left on the board personally.
Yeah. So, and for him to go this late in the game without getting put up, I think that's an interesting. Someone who clearly had an eye on him and didn't want him to go that early. So, we'll see. Oh wow!
Was willing to pay a lot for OG.
Absolutely. Hey,
I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt now too.
Should have bid on him. Wow. All right, VanVleet goes at 32 to Steven. So quick update on Steven's team. He's got Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown, VanVleet, Jokic, and Nurkic.
That might be a very good team.
Could be. Let's see, man. A lot of it is going to depend. With my opinion on that team is going to be on injuries. If his team is healthy, that's a playoff team thus far. So we'll see how it goes. And now you have, speaking of injury prone, the unicorn Kristaps Porzingis is now on the board of the Dallas Mavericks. Luka's number 2, his right hand man. Let's see where his value's at in a lot of people's minds. He's obviously a great 3-point shooter, can get blocks as well. So, there's value. There's places for Porzingis to be had, I'd say.
I completely agree. I think Porzingis definitely has value on this board. Now, I don't know I think he might be overpaid here as well. I could see him easily going for $25 just based off of, how quickly his price is rising. But We'll see. I mean, it looks like he's stuck at 23, so this might be a good value for. It is a good value for Kyle.
23,
$23.
Yeah. I mean, Porzingis, guys, he's a top 40 player in category leagues for sure. I mean, again, if he's healthy and, he won't play. I don't think he'll play 82 games, but all in all, to add on to Kyle's, Colin Sexton, Bradley Beal, DeJounte Murray, JJJ, Porzingis is a nice
His bigs
center.
are injury prone though.
Yeah, his bigs are injury prone, but I think he's gotten everybody at a good value. He only spent 40 on Beal, who's going to be the clear option one in Washington. Colin Sexton contract year, $12. DeJounte Murray now with DeRozan gone at $18. I mean, he obviously Kyle knows what he's doing here.
All right, now we have Drew Holiday on the board. This is a guy that I was actually waiting for.
Let's see.
Well, now let's see where his value ends up. I'm willing to overspend on him just because I do need defensive stats. So, I'm willing to spend up to like probably his projected value if I'm being honest. My guard situation defensively isn't the best. So, again, I'm willing to put a little bit of extra money on him. Now, will I spend as much as some of these other guys want to drive the bid up? It remains to be seen. Let's just wait and see. I currently have him at $23. Maybe someone outbids him on me. Oof. Ben. Oof. I feel like Ben and I have had some bidding wars essentially here.
Absolutely, and Ben's already got 5 players. Nathan's got 6 players. I mean, you're starting to see some rosters start to fill out a little bit and get an idea for people's strategy this late in the game.
All right, I got my guy at $25. It might seem like an overspend to some people. I needed defensive stats for my team. So, I'm pretty happy with his performance from last year and just his value overall. Now we have another controversial player, Robert Williams.
Oof. Let's see, man. Let's see. Robert Williams with the Celtics. Obviously, big concerns with him is durability and minutes. Just even when he is healthy, I had him last year, and as valuable as he was, there were just some games where he'd only play 25 minutes, and it's just tough. It's tough to invest a lot. You have a guy like Al Horford backing him up now, so Boston obviously feels like they have good depth at the position. So a lot of it's going to be on Robert Williams's ability to improve. I mean, that's really what it boils down to here. I mean, obviously he's going to get you blocks, he's going to get you boards. Great with field goal percentage as well in the 70s, one of the highest in the league. And I think at $14,
that's a good risk.
That's about where I've seen him. So no real surprises there so far.
To me, that's a good risk.
Oh man,
are you willing to bid on him?
Julius Randle has just been nominated. I'm curious to see. I'm going to up the bill rate here for Julius. I'm going to go 15 and see where people are at. This guy is sneaky, man. He picks up statistics. He had a silently really good All-NBA second-team year last year. I don't necessarily have much of a need for him, so all I was trying to do was, up the bill rate there for him. But it looks like at $18, no way. You got to be kidding me, guys. Julius got to go for a little bit more. I'm to the point where I'm about to just invest just to try to get somebody. But I'm a little worried with Julius. He's got Kemba Walker there now. I don't know how that offense is going to look.
Oof, I was about to spend money on
$20. I mean, man, come on. Let's see. Yep. And Kyle just mentioned in the chat, it's Value City time. This is where he thinks he's going to get a lot of value at $85 left. He has the second most money. Mark has $91, but he only has 2 players. I'm surprised. Mark has not really gotten involved outside of James Harden and Paul George, who I thought were good pickups for him. I'm interested to see where he tries to fill out the rest of his roster. And now Julius is slowly increasing.
I'm just trying to get these people to spend their money.
I know, man.
And if I get them for $24,
then it works out. It definitely works out.
I got them for 24. I'm not mad about that.
I think that's a good value, man. That's a good pickup. And now Daniel's down to $29, folks. He's down to 29. So he won't necessarily have his pick of the litter here. Neither will Steven at $21 with 8 spots left. But hey, guys, sometimes you got to go top heavy. You don't want to also be left with $60 to spend with 2 roster spots either, because that's not a great strategy. So
I'm pretty happy with my team. If I just can do a quick review, I have Dame Lillard, Drew Holiday, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. All around great players. The only area of concern that I could probably see is maybe assists. Just maybe that could be an area of concern. But everything else, I'm good. So
the good thing with your team with the assist is that you have Randle, who averaged 6 assists a game. I think that assist number will come down a little bit, but for a big, he does give you good assists. And I think Michael Porter Jr., he only averaged 1 assist a game. I would be shocked if it stays that low. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be closer to the 3 or 4 assists a game this year, especially now adding Aaron Gordon, who I think is going to help make his game a little bit easier as well. We'll see there.
So just to recap really quickly, guys, Jonas Valanciunas just went for $16. I personally think that's a little bit of an overspend. I think JV's value in New Orleans takes a nosedive, just being alongside Zion. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he continues that stellar season from last year with the Grizzlies over to New Orleans and just kind of like reignites a fire there to get them into the playoffs. Like that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and my concern with New Orleans, and actually that's a big reason why I stayed away from Zion, is I'm a little worried. Like Jonas Valanciunas kind of crowds the paint, similar to a Steven Adams. I don't know how that's going to work necessarily in New Orleans. So
I think it's a little bit worse.
Yeah,
because of the fact that Steven Adams, although he crowds the paint, he's not as ball dominant.
Agreed.
JV needs the ball.
Yeah, and now we have Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick on the board, $11, sold to Roto Kyle. I mean, hey, worth the investment. I actually have a higher. I think Jalen Green might even have a better year than Cade Cunningham. All in all, I'm curious to see what he's going to look like. You have a guy like Jeremy Grant over there. You have other guys that want to get fed on that team. Obviously, him being the number 1 pick, he's going to have high usage, but might be a little bit of a rough transition at first. But it might correct itself out over the span of the year.
All right, next we have Brandon Ingram from the Pelicans, which we were just speaking about. He's currently going for $17. That might be a steal.
It might be. I think that number is going to keep going up. I had him last year. He's pretty reliable, pretty solid. He gets you a lot of numbers, and he's the clear number 2 in New Orleans as well. So, again,
would you be willing to bid on him?
I mean, I'm trying to see where Kyle and Jacob are at. I don't want to spend half my remaining budget on him. I may not really have a choice. Because I want a small forward.
Oh man, I've reached the point in the draft, guys, where I am over the budget. I can't bid.
Danny can't even up the bid. I'm gonna make Kyle spend a little bit more for Brandon Ingram. If he wants Ingram, he's gonna have to spend $25, and that's where I'll leave it for BI. Reason is my thought process. Chris Middleton is the next best small forward on the board, and then there's a big drop off. And I already have Giannis, so I don't want to double up on Bucks players. So that's kind of where my head's at. And so speaking of, I'm going to nominate Chris Middleton because I have no use for him on my roster now with BI and with Giannis, Bam. Yeah. Man, let's see.
So you're down to $25. I'm at $29. We have 8 players left to draft. I think we've had a pretty solid draft all in all.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to leave good players either, just to try to save more money for the end. Like, look, there's going to be guys that if you don't win out on them, I know Kyle's probably sniping. He's looking for certain guys that he wants. I know that Mark may be even doing the same here. He's got $91.
I think left. Mark has a weird tactic here. Like, I don't know what's going on. I think he might. If I had to put my money on it, Mark's going to be just the guy that bids on a CJ McCollum, a Malcolm Brogdon, a Draymond Green, just like back-to-back guys that everyone else will spend money, and he's going to just like come in and swoop them up off the board.
You know what I found interesting? Kyle, maybe I missed it. Kyle was negotiating or was bidding with me for Brandon Ingram, but Middleton went for $22, no problem. Ingram went for $24. So it made me kind of curious. Maybe he held Ingram in a higher tier than a guy like Middleton. What do you think?
I think that's very possible, just because, to your point, Middleton, even though Ingram, like Middleton and Ingram have very similar values, Ingram's clearly the 2.
Yeah.
Whereas Middleton, even though he is the 2, you have a very close 3 right behind him with Drew Holiday. Who's the 3 in New Orleans? Are we talking about a Devontae Graham?
Big drop.
Are we talking about a Steve or Jonas Valanciunas? Yeah. Huge drop off. And Mike Conley just went for $7. Very interesting nomination there. Very interesting pick. I'm going to nominate a guy that I know a lot of people are going to be very, very high on. Draymond Green.
In prior drafts, I was very high on Draymond. I'm not as high on him with the roster setup that I have. Again, having Giannis and Bam it eliminates a need, in my opinion, for a guy like Draymond, because Giannis gives me 6 assists. Bam gave me 5.5 assists. It's just not, to me, it's not someone that I would consider a must-have when it comes to a value perspective. But I could see how other guys may be inclined.
Like we were just mentioning, Mark might see value in him. He's bidding. He's bidding on him. $16. Kyle's at $17. I think this is a guy that both of them really, really want. Kyle might get him at. Jacob came in with the snipe at $18.
Wow.
Draymond Green's an all-around great player, and you have to wonder that with Klay Thompson coming back, his value just might go up even more.
Absolutely, absolutely. $18 for Jacob. All right, so pretty much we're at the point where almost everybody in the draft has either 5 or 6 players on their roster. Outside of Ofer and Mark, everyone has 5 or 6, and $91 is the most amount, followed by 74. Everybody else is at the $50 or less range, just to kind of give everybody an idea. Josh Giddey of the
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder. People are giddy about Giddey. Let's see, man. Let's see. I would put a late round flyer. I don't want to spend money on him right now. $4. I mean, sure. OKC's a young guy, a young team, and he's a young rookie that they invested a high draft pick into. We don't know much about Giddey. We know that he averaged close to a triple double in Australia, but to be honest, as an American, I don't know much about it. Maybe our Australian counterparts can kind of tutor us a little bit more, but it does look like, based off reading the comments in the chat, a lot of people like Giddey at $4. So, hey, we'll see, man.
Next, we have a CJ McCollum.
Let's see.
That's $15.
I don't have much need for CJ on my team, to be honest with you. Great with threes. He's probably a better value in a points league. But at $15 for a guy like Ofer, who needed to start filling out his roster, I think it's a good move. You're pairing him with a guy like Luka, who can hit the three, and AD and Zion are not necessarily known as great 3-point shooters, so it gives his team a nice, more well-rounded edge there.
I agree.
Now we're starting to see who Ben's going to nominate. Still have guys like Christian Wood on the board. Miles Turner is still available. John Collins. So a lot of bigs still available here, man.
Oof, I love this pick, Isaiah Stewart. I've been very high on him. I love his potential, and with Detroit. But I need to be wise with my money. I can't be spending money on him right now. I need to fill out some other positions first. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let him slide, which burns me to say. But he's going for $12 right now. I need to have other players spend their money. Someone like Mark, yeah, sure, go ahead, take him.
Take him. And my concern with Isaiah Stewart is in Detroit, you have Kelly Olynyk, who did a great job in Houston last year. I could see this being kind of a split thing. I saw Dwayne Casey came out and definitely said that Kelly Olynyk is a guy that they're looking to get the ball. And so for an Isaiah Stewart manager, that's something that would concern me. But hey, you never know. Stewart's obviously going to get you great defensive numbers and great boards. I think at $14, though, more than I would have been willing to spend for sure.
For sure. And also something to note is that with Detroit, they also drafted Luka Gorza, who I think he was a player of the year last year with Iowa State. But a fun fact, they actually fully guaranteed his contract.
Yeah.
So that means that they clearly invested time, money in him. Yep. They clearly see his value. So it begs a question: Is he gonna get to some minutes away from Isaiah Stewart?
That's a great question, man. That's a great question. Curious to see now, Marcus Smart. I know Danny has been looking for defensive stats to kind of help out some of his offensive-minded players, his top guys. Yeah, he drafted Drew Holiday. Marcus Smart is a guy cut from the similar cloth. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see where he goes here.
I love the comments. Kyle said, Mark finally spent money.
Yeah. Mark finally spent money. This guy's been a little stingy.
I like Marcus Smart, don't get me wrong, but again, I need to be smarter with my money right now.
I agree. And I'm curious.
I love Lonzo too. That's another guy I have my money on.
He loves some Lonzo Ball, this guy. Let's see.
But you know what? Let someone else spend money on him personally.
Absolutely. Let's get these guys down. I'm a little upset. I have the second least money available or third least money available. So I want, this is a time where I'm going to kind of sit back, be patient. I'm waiting on a certain couple of guys that I have my eyes on. So let's let these guys spend their money now.
I have my eyes on someone like a Miles Turner, a Tyrese Halliburton, maybe a Brogdon, definitely a Garland. Just again, some value picks. It all depends on where everyone else is bidding on them though. But I think that they would really nicely round out my team. And what about you? Who do you have your eyes on?
Yeah, I finally got the over your budget notification, so that's very sad. That's how you know you're approaching the end of the draft. No, I think guys like Terry Rozier, 3-point, if you're looking for threes, Gordon Hayward. I still think if he's healthy, Gordon Hayward will fill up the stat sheet, and he's a good wing to add it for a team that needs a wing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Garland is a guy that we both talked about. And then, D'Angelo Russell.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell's a sleeper, man. I'm telling you, he struggles with certain categories, but on a team like mine where I'm kind of punting free throws as it is, not a great free throw shooter, but he'll get me points. He'll get me some assists as well. And, maybe he could be someone that helps me out. He wanted the Ball brothers, says Nathan. Nathan says he wanted the Ball brothers. They made it happen. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's see. So John Collins on the boards, a guy that Danny and I spoke at length about a little bit in our last episode. From what we see, he's like the third most valuable Hawk in category leagues. If Clint Capella happens to miss any time, though, that could definitely skyrocket Collins' value. And he's going for $18 now. It looks like Team for Sale has $25 left, and he has just bid $18 on John Collins. Wow, he is all in. Thankfully, Nathan saved him there with the $19 because I'll tell you, he was about to risk it all for John Collins.
I don't know if that's a guy I'd be willing to risk it all for, but hey, maybe he's got a different strategy.
Depends on the roster and your strategy, kind of like we talked about. Kyle Lowry, the infamous Miami Heat. Let's see where he goes. He's in that 7 to 8 range. Let's see if it goes up any higher.
I would be shocked if he goes for less than $10.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, there's no way, man.
Let's see. This guy would be a guy that if you need assists this late in the draft, 3-pointer. I think he's going to shoot more threes this year in Miami than he did in Toronto for sure.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think this team is well set up for him to be kind of a distributor, but be able to take a lot of threes. And field goal percentage is pretty garbage from last year at 43%. So I think it's going to improve with having some better players around him in Miami.
What about injury concerns with him? He is getting up there in age. What are your thoughts?
He is. I could see Miami taking a more cautious approach, much like Jimmy. They don't really need him for all 82 games. I think they have a capable backup with a Tyler Hero who could easily play the point guard role. So, $14, decent draft, decent value there.
Yeah, we'll see. He's definitely a risk later at this point in the draft. But I think all Miami Heat players right now are a risk until we see a couple of games where we've seen them all play together and kind of where they land.
Agreed. I'm still all in on Bam though. I think Kyle Lowry affects Jimmy Butler more than he affects Bam Adebayo.
That's fair.
Let's see. We have Christian Wood, probably the best big available, has been nominated again.
Over my budget.
Let's get some money spent here from the big guys. Kyle, $22. Kyle was about ready to invest half his budget. Left. Ben is ready to invest half his budget in Christian Wood. I don't think anyone's going to go over 23, to be honest. I don't know how many players can even afford him at this point. And 23, we'll see.
He is clearly number one.
Yeah. So Ben's got an interesting strategy so far. So he's got Steph Curry, Josh Giddey, Ben Simmons, OG Anunoby, Rashawn Holmes, Christian Wood, Clint Capella. I think he's kind of targeted a lot of guys that, like Ben Simmons is very well-rounded, but he hurts you in certain categories. From what we've seen of Josh Giddey, he can also be very well-rounded. Same with OG Anunoby. Rashawn Holmes will get you rebounds and blocks. Christian Wood is obviously going to be a high-usage player in Houston, although, again, durability kind of scares me with Christian Wood. And then Clint Capella with the rebounds and blocks. It's an interesting strategy.
Like D'Angelo Russell currently going for $11. Thoughts?
Yeah. I'm not that interested in D'Angelo Russell, to be honest with you.
I just don't think he's a great fantasy player.
Nah, he's better in points leagues, I'd say. I'm going to nominate Tyrese Halliburton because I have De'Aaron Fox and I have no need for another Sacramento King. So let's see. This, unfortunately, for those of you that play fantasy football, I don't know if it necessarily works the same way where you want to have a handcuff, sort of when you draft the backup of your main starter. For me, I'm not really interested in that. If De'Aaron Fox gets hurt, then you know what? I got to look elsewhere. Maybe a Davion Mitchell later in the draft, but Tyrese Halliburton kind of would not be the best move for me. I'm actually kind of shocked he's only going for $5 right now. I think that's a hell of a steal for a guy that contributes in a lot of different categories.
It looks like it's a bidding war right now between two players.
Yep, and the guys that have the money to spend here. So let's see.
Oh,
Mark,
here we go.
Mark with $77.
All right, but we need to drive it up. Like, even though Mark's bidding on this guy, I didn't want to do $9. There's no way he goes for 9 though.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I'd be shocked, but I'm not going to.
I love how the whole chat is.
And he's going, no way he's going to go for 9, says Daniel Gordon. I mean, hey, he could have that second year. Hey, see, everybody says it's a steal, so
I don't care. I only have 20. Oh wait, I still only have $20 left.
yeah.
If I wasn't broke.
Free PJ. Yep. Hey, listen, man. Oh man,
Mark, how the hell did you not bet on that?
Hey, Halliburton does give you more steals though, and you only spent 9. I mean, you still have $20 left. It's
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't.
not
It wasn't the worst.
It could have been worse for sure. Okay, so I'm looking at my roster, kind of assessing the needs. I have $26 to spend over 8 players. My max offer is 19. Ideally, I'd like to spend no more than 8 or 9 on my next player, but again, we're determining based off who has the most money, kind of sets the market. So let's see where Mark and Kyle are at.
All right, you know what? Let's get someone to spend money.
Yeah, Miles Turner, get off the board here.
I'm shocked he's still on the board.
Big blocks guy, big 3-pointer guy as a center. And I think that this is where you're going to see Kyle and some other guys spend some extra money. I've spent 11, and that's
it's over my budget.
Yep, it's more than I'm willing to budget for Miles.
I feel like Mark needs to spend money at this point.
Yeah. For anyone that's looking for blocks, Miles Turner is the guy. He led the NBA in blocks last year. He can also shoot the 3, like we mentioned. Not a great rebounder for his size.
So surprising for you, right?
Yeah. So if you you can build your team well around him with guys that can rebound, then that's great. So something to note: Roto Kyle just picked Miles Turner at $20. I find it interesting. He has Jaren Jackson Jr., who averaged 5.6 rebounds a game. Obviously, small sample size last year. And Miles Turner, who only averaged 6.5. He does have DeJounte Murray, who as a guard rebounds really well for his size and his position. But again, a little concerning with rebounds for Kyle. Maybe he'll fill it out with maybe an Andre Drummond later in the draft or another guy.
I just want to know what Mark is doing. Oh, this is what he's doing.
Garland.
I think everyone loves Garland.
Yeah, everybody does love Garland. He's a popular pickup right here. I can't lie. Let me see. He's been a guy that's gotten better every single year, man. There's just no doubt about it.
People were very shy. They're very scared of drafting him when he did come out of Vanderbilt, just because he only played a handful of games. People questioned what his fit was next to Colin Sexton, but now the rumors are that he might completely take over the job from Colin Sexton.
I wanted Garland, but I was not willing to go above 16 right now based off the way the roster is constructed. And I was able to get Mark to spend a little bit more than I think he thought he would have to spend at this point in time. So you know what? I'm happy with that.
Malcolm Brogdon, another great value at this point.
Great value for sure. This is. I think Malcolm Brogdon is one of those players that makes you wish you hadn't spent that much money on a guy like earlier in the draft. But let's see what he goes for here.
I'm pretty happy with most of my draft, apart from spending a little bit more than I would have liked on Rudy Gobert or Michael Porter Jr., like a couple dollars here and there. I think I've gotten pretty good deals. That Tyrese Halliburton thing was an absolute bonkers steal.
I know. If I can get Brogdon for 15, I'm a happy camper. And yeah. So the reason I was
great value.
I was holding out for Malcolm Brogdon. He gets you 3s, which again, my team is not great for it, but I had Brogdon and Ingram last year, and they both did great for me. Brogdon averaged almost 6 assists a game, over 5 boards a game, almost a steal per game as well, and he's solid from the free throw line and he's efficient. So, Scotty Barnes.
I wanted him not to come up yet.
Early.
Yeah, I would have loved to bid on him, but he is a $1 player to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to see myself spending more than that on him. I mean, hey, he could pan out, but especially with Siakam out for the beginning of the season, but I wouldn't want to spend money on a guy that it's kind of an unproven commodity still in the NBA. But it looks like Ben really wanted his Scotty Barnes, and he got him. So congratulations, man. I'm a little concerned with where I'm at with that Brogdon pick. I'm going to have to probably hold out for a little while before I can pick again.
Do you have any true centers?
No. I mean, I have Giannis and Bam who are
Giannis can play the center.
Yeah, they're both eligible for center, so I kind of had that in mind. Everyone I've picked so far is multiple positions except for De'Aaron Fox, so I'm happy there.
Ooh, Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield's got to go for more than $4 here. Come on, guys, let's up that price here. Man.
$6 for Buddy Hield. This might be a great value.
Absolutely.
I don't think that his field goal percentage should remain that low this year. I think it'll uptick.
Yeah, agreed. Jared Allen's still on the board. Siakam on the board. Kelly O is on the board as well. DeMar DeRozan. Derek White is on the board. I have a feeling somebody here has been waiting for Derek White. I think Mark might have been waiting for him this all along.
I have a couple guys left on my eyes. Someone like Jeremy Grant this late in the draft. Someone like Jared Allen, Pascal Siakam. There's still a lot of value. Gordon Hayward. There's still a lot of value to be had left in this draft.
Absolutely, man.
Karis LeVert at $5. It remains to be seen. Like, will he pan out that great? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Indiana stack over here.
This guy's just drafting player on player from team.
Right?
DeMar DeRozan.
Sheesh. Let's see. Oof. DeMar. 7, 8, 9. Let's see. Let's get that over in the double digits for DeMar DeRozan here.
There we go. $11.
I think Ofer is going to get him. I think Ofer wants him. He's got $27.
I'm just waiting to see Mark spend more money.
Yeah, I mean, Mark is going to basically have his pick of whoever he wants. So, again, it could pan out. It might not. Let's see how much money is spent in the next couple rounds. Will kind of determine if that strategy pans out or
not. We have a conversation going on right now where someone really wanted D'Lo, and then someone said, I know D'Lo is going to be the guy when Cat gets hurt.
Absolutely.
It's inevitable. Brook Lopez, a really great value center in my opinion. Now, would I be willing to spend $5 on him right now? Probably not. Just because, again, we need to be efficient with our money right now. But I think overall Juan Carlos got great value there.
Agreed. Brook Lopez is going to be a guy that gets you blocks, threes. Good big to have on the board. Again, someone to keep in mind. Not great with rebounds, but Juan kind of hedged his bets by drafting a guy like Russell Westbrook and LeBron James and KD, who all get you over 7 boards a game. So you can afford to kind of take a flyer on a big like Brook Lopez, who can help you with threes as well. So smart value there pickup.
Harrison Barnes, the guy you love.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, man. Let's see where he goes. I wonder if people are going to spend more on him. I already have a Sacramento King, so I'm trying to stay away from that. But, man, he's a great value at $2, man. I can't do it because there's just too many players that are available that I would want to bid more on. But, wow, $2. Oof, it's freaking good. It's really, really good. Really good pick there, Jacob. Jamal Murray.
Oof.
Interesting.
I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about Jamal Murray. Could he come back before the All-Star break? Is he going to come back right before the playoffs? I mean, that's going to determine his ultimate value, but I would not invest more than $1 or $2 into Jamal. Same with a Kawhi Leonard. It's just unlikely that these guys are going to make a big impact on your team.
Who are you going to nominate?
Let's get some money off the board. I'm going to go with a Bob Covington. I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of guys want, and I'm going to get him off the board because I already have bigs that play defense. I don't necessarily need more of that, and I want to get guys to spend money here. Let's see. Maybe we're the only ones that are high on Rob Covington this year.
I severely doubt that.
Let's see.
I would love a Bob Covington right now. Now, if I can get him for $5, hell yeah. But again, I need to be a little bit more wise with my money.
Let's see. Gonna let Ben snatch him for $5. No, Kyle. Dan for $6. Maxed out his budget. Max offer. Robert Covington going once.
Oh no.
Going twice. No. Sold to Danny Dwar. Look at that. Danny has just about the same amount of money as me. He does have one more player though, so hey, I think he's a good value. Not great with field goal percentage though, so keep that in mind. But he definitely is going to round out your defensive stats. You added Holiday, you added Halliburton, you added Covington to kind of offset the offensive-minded Dame Lillard, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle. And obviously you have Rudy Gobert. I mean, I think it's pretty well balanced so far.
Terry Rozier's at $10.
Scary Terry.
He's at $10.
Double digits.
You know what? That makes me feel better about myself. Mm-hmm. All right, my turn to nominate. Let's get a player out there that I'm curious to see what the market thinks of him right now. Let's see Pascal Siakam.
Let's see, man. Let's see. Obviously, everybody knows Siakam's going to miss the beginning of the season, and he struggled a lot last year, no doubt about it, but he's still, when healthy, he's the number one option in Toronto. So if you are playing the long game here with your season, I think he's going to be a great value for whoever gets him. I think Kyle's been holding out for him for sure. I know Ben wants him, but I think Ben is going to get outbid by Kyle here just slightly.
Maybe Mark.
Let's see. Maybe Mark jumps in at the end. Kyle, $10 for Siakam. There's Mark. 11. Yep. I have a feeling he's gonna get his guy here. He had him on his mind from the very beginning, no doubt about it. Wow, $11 for Pascal Siakam. That honestly though, that ever since the news of the injury came out, that's kind of where he's been going. You do have to take into consideration you're gonna be without him for maybe a month. So but hey, if you have a team that's strong enough to last without him, it's a great pickup. Tyrese Maxey now on the board, a guy who we don't know. We think he's going to play a lot of minutes now that Ben Simmons is gone, and he had a really good rookie year last year as well. But again, it's just not a for sure thing, but definitely worth a flyer for $5, $6, I'd say, for the guys that have the money to spend.
I agree.
And it looks like Mark is going to continue his strategy. He
definitely. I don't know if I'd spend that much money.
$7, $8 for Maxey. Ooh, Dame Dalla, you might have overbid on yourself there. I mean,
I don't think that was his play.
I don't think so either. I think he was hoping Mark would spend an extra dollar or two, but maybe that's what we wanted all in all. But I think at $8 might be a little too much, honestly. So he's got Trae Young, D'Angelo Russell, Buddy Hield.
That's a lot for Maxey.
Wait a minute. He's got Tobias Harris, Buddy Hield, and Tyrese Maxey. I don't know how I feel about that one. We got a Philly fan here, clearly. Jeez, I think Danny's going to go to the comments and go right after him. Wouldn't surprise me. He said it's my fake money. That's funny. So a guy that I'm going to mention, I'm probably not going to be able to afford him because he's overpriced at this point for what he'll be. Kevin Porter Jr. I think is a guy that's going to go for a lot, and he has not been nominated. Right now, Jared Allen is on the board being nominated. Let's see where Jared Allen goes.
$7 right now. He's a very solid center to round out anyone's team.
He is. I'm concerned with that situation in Cleveland between him, Mobley, Lauri Markkanen. It's a lot going on in Cleveland, man. It makes me concerned on all three of their values, to be honest with you.
I still think there's better centers left on the board as well.
Right.
You could get value with a Daniel Gafford possibly, and Al Horford.
Yep. Lots of centers available. Kelly O.
Jacob Poeltl.
Wendell Carter Jr.
Jacob Poeltl, who he is a center.
Absolutely.
I mean, at $12, I don't know about that. I think that might be a little bit too rich for my taste. Let's see. Who is Ben going to nominate? By the way, guys, at this point in the draft, we're really at the nitty-gritty overall. This is where strategy 100% takes over. We're beyond the value aspect, and it's just like, what do you need at this point? Because as you guys can see, there's not really anyone left that people are willing to spend over $10, $15 on. And it's a lot more about rounding your team out how you want to build it. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker got nominated.
Yeah. So he's a player that we had as a sleeper. Maybe we were kind of talking about who would be number 3 in New Orleans. Maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker kind of steps up and takes on that role. Obviously didn't shoot well from the field last year, but I mean, Alexander-Walker, there's nothing really in his way outside of a Zion or BI that are stopping him from being that dominant guard in New Orleans. So I think it's worth a flyer. I don't know if I'd spend $6 on him, but definitely worth a flyer. And he's someone that we both considered a sleeper coming into the season too.
For sure. I'm shocked Derek White is still on the board.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant. I was waiting for someone to nominate him personally.
Absolutely. Jeremy Grant is probably going to go for more than $4 though, safe to say.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I believe in the Olympic experience in players.
Hey, Danny criticized it, but I'm telling you, man, getting a gold medal, being around these other superstar players, you learn some things, and then you come back to your main team, you bring back what you learned, and I've seen a tick up in productivity the year after the Olympics, and I think at $8, Kyle got a great.
Kyle definitely agrees with your logic. For drafting a player,
Yep, great value at $8 for Kyle for sure. Let's see.
Marvin Bagley III.
Controversial pick here.
Oof.
Big controversial guy.
What's interesting? Look at his stats. They're projecting that his free throws skyrocket. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't see. So to give you guys insight on audio, Marvin Bagley averaged 57% from the line, which sounds unbelievable last year. Yahoo has him projected at 71% this year. So big tick up in productivity and efficiency from the line. We'll see if that happens. Again, not really interested in any other Kings outside of Fox. I don't really trust that rotation, honestly.
For $2, though.
Yeah, maybe Buddy Hield is a 3-point streamer. He's off the board already, but
what's shocking though? Buddy Hield actually lost a lot of his minutes last year under Luke Walton's system to Tyrese Halliburton.
That's insane. That's
So,
just
unless they let go of Luke Walton, is that trend going to continue where Buddy Hield's value kind of continues to diminish? It remains to be
it's
seen.
crazy, man.
Next up, we have Kemba Walker currently on the board for $6. I'm pretty set. I have Julius Randle.
I'm curious to where Mark's head is at. So he has James Harden and Darius Garland, Paul George, Isaiah Stewart, Siakam, and now he's bidding on Kemba Walker. I mean, was this somebody that he had in mind? Maybe Kemba has a renaissance season with the Knicks. Again, I'm concerned with the injuries, the durability, and he has Derrick Rose backing him up, who's a perfectly capable backup point guard, I'd say. At $8 though,
I mean, how many guys have a former MVP backing them up,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. It's a rare situation for sure.
Bojan Bogdanovic is left. I am
Fascinating.
shocked that, again, we still have Derek White, Gordon Hayward on the board, but we have Bojan coming off the board. Great points guy overall, great three-point shooter. But apart from that, that's where really all his value is, in my opinion.
So I think Juan has an idea here with adding a guy like that. I think he's been trying to look for consistent shooters across the board, and he did need another forward because he went pretty guard heavy with his bench with Kyle Lowry and Jamal Murray. So I mean, I get it, and he's on a team where they're going to score points. So I understand it completely. Nerlens Noel. Wow, that one hurts. I didn't think he was going to go this early, and I don't want to overspend for him now either, especially with the defensive
Do you think
players that I have.
Do you think Mark is a Knicks fan?
I mean, it's very possible. A lot of Knicks fans out there. Oh man, Nerlens. I can't spend $4 on Nerlens. Can't do it. I just can't. I don't know if he'll have as good a season as he had last year either. He really blocks and steals were outstanding last year. If he's able to though, at $4, great job, Mark. You deserve it.
Rowan.
RJ. I was really hoping I could just steal him at the end of the draft, but too many Knicks fans on here. I can't. I can't even spend on him. That's tough.
I mean, you can.
Nah, but I'm not going to. $4, there's just too many holes I have left to spend that much on him, unfortunately.
Do you regret spending some money that you spent earlier?
I don't. There's still a lot of centers out here that I think are very capable that I'm looking at. I have Giannis, I have Bam, Brogdon, Fox, Ingram, Mikal Bridges. I mean, I think my top six, I would put them up against any other top six for any other team right now.
All right, who you're gonna nominate? Let's see.
Let's see. I'm looking at it now. I got to get guys to spend money. I got to get Derek White off the board. I think he and DeJounte are going to split the lead role in San Antonio. Again, big issues with him has been injuries throughout his career, but if he can put together a full season with the role that Pop is probably going to have him in San Antonio, he's definitely going to be a great pickup, I'd say.
Mark's actually rounding out his team very nicely.
He is. He knew he had certain guys. Some may consider them overspends, but I think his strategy is working. He has Noel for blocks. He has a guy like Kemba coming off the bench, which he's going to be a starter in New York. Now he's going to probably add a Derek White along with a Garland who's high upside, Paul George very high upside, and James Harden, top 3 fantasy player. Let's see, man.
Wow, $11.
Yeah. So Kyle ended up with Derek White actually, and I had a feeling that he had an eye on Derek White. I had a feeling.
I'm just shocked that Mark wasn't willing to spend money on him.
Yeah, I think Derek. Yeah, so Kyle obviously had a strategy coming in. He knew he had certain guys he wanted: Lonzo, Marcus Smart, Derek White. Like those were guys that he had his eye on. I think from the very beginning, as well as Cade Cunningham as well.
Let's see who he nominated.
KPJ.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was willing to max out the rest of my budget for KPJ.
Holy cow! Look at this. People are spending crazy money on him.
No surprise at all.
$14.
I should have nominated him earlier and gotten people to spend money, but I was hoping he would fall. But obviously, we're drafting with some pretty basketball savvy folks here that know what they're doing. So, Kevin Porter Jr. at $14 to Jacob. I'd say, wow, he's went a lot higher than he's been going in previous drafts. I'll tell you that. All right. Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic next off the board. Fascinating. I'm going to be that guy, Danny. I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be that guy who ends up just sniping value at $1. That's what I'm going to really shoot for here. I'm hoping that Mark spends some of this money that he has left. hoping Juan spends some of this money that he has left as well. Like these guys are both, they have quite a bit left. Actually, it's funny. Juan still has 4 spots left. Wow. All right, he's actually doing a very good job. First time fantasy basketball drafter, also Juan. So fascinating. Wow. Sengun nominated Houston Rockets, first round draft pick. We'll see, man. High upside guy. I don't have enough on him to really be able to say for sure he's worth it. But obviously, Mark had an idea and he didn't think anybody would bid, and the strategy panned out. He only spent $1, which leaves him still with 36 to spend. So if Sengun pans out in Houston, great value. I want to see Gordon Hayward get off the board here. Let's go. Andrew Wiggins, another wing.
Let's see. Nathan's a Cavs fan. Love to learn that about people.
Oh man, Andrew Wiggins at $5. I mean, honestly, man, Wiggins does a lot. I mean, he's not necessarily great or elite at any one category, but I think at $5,
You think his value goes
player.
down?
I mean, for $5, a bench player, Klay Thompson's going to be out for a while. I mean, yeah, maybe worth a strategy there, worth a little gamble. Let's see who gets put up next here, Dan. So where's your hat at as far as your strategy?
All right, so I need another center to round out my team. But I'm just looking at value picks right now, to be quite honest. So I scrolled down quite a bit and I already lined up my queue. In just terms of like it, I'm not really targeting one category at this point. I think I have a pretty well-rounded team, but I'm just looking at it more so where can I get some value? Someone like my next player that I'm going to nominate, Spencer Dinwiddie, like clear number 2 in Washington. Why hasn't he been nominated yet?
You're right. Duncan Robinson, $7 from Juan because he's got the money to spend, and he says, why not? Look at that. So he's got Kyle Lowry and Duncan. I mean, hey,
hometowner right there.
You need a 3-point streamer. Duncan Robinson's your guy, and Juan will have him on his roster. Let's see. Wonder who Nathan's gonna nominate. He's only got $9 to spend on 4 spots. So Jalen Green, the rookie. The reason why I've spent as much as I have, guys, is I've done quite a few mock drafts now. 12 team. There are going to be guys available at $1 that I'm going to be happy with. So I'm not necessarily concerned. I only have $11 to spend on 7 spots, but I feel pretty good that I can fill out my roster pretty well with the money that I have left.
Same, honestly, same. To me, I was willing to spend money on the guys that I knew would round out my team very nicely in certain positions, and then kind of balance out the rest of my team with some value picks that like they'll still contribute in certain stats, but they won't be game breakers like some of the other players that I drafted.
Correct. Let's see.
Maybe you get a Keldon Johnson at this point in the draft.
He's been a guy I've been looking at. There's still sleepers available here, guys. I mean, we'll discuss them as they come up. Again, I don't want to unveil too much of the strategy. Come on. Ooh, Bogdanovich here. Ooh. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for bidding on him, to be honest, guys. This guy's a good value here. Does a little bit of everything. I don't know if he fits what I need necessarily, but he is one of the best players, but I don't want to panic.
He's a close 4, though, by the way. Like a close, like 4 in terms of value.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was a good value there. Let's see if Gordon Hayward goes for any more. Yeah, he does. Figured I'd drive up the price there a little bit, see if I could get some people to spend. Let's see.
And so at this point, guys, for our audio listeners, we're a little bit quiet. It's just more so we're being strategic with our next moves. Like, what do we really need to round out our team? Like, what can we move forward with in terms of our team? Because this is a part where it gets a lot more methodical for your draft. So, pardon the silence if you're listening on audio. It's just us, contemplating. A quick recap: Gordon Hayward just went for $11. So again, quite a late pick for him to be nominated, but clearly everyone did value him quite a bit.
Right.
Michael Porter Jr. is only projected to get 108 assists. That's
I'm
bonkers.
telling you, it's going to be more than that. I would be shocked if it's any less. If it's less than that. Let's see where Juan goes with his next nomination here. Jakob Pertl.
I could use him, but like I'm not crazy high on him. His free throw percentage just kills you,
That's
man.
atrocious. It's atrocious. I would consider it, but he's over my budget already. I wouldn't want to spend. Yahoo has him projected at 7. I don't think he's. Maybe he surprises me this year and he's worth more, but like last year he averaged 8 and 8. Like nothing special, to be honest with you.
All right, just $5. Went for $5. Let's see who over nominates. He's got $12 left, so he's kind of in the same ballpark we are. In terms of just trying to get value picks, but trying to be methodical. So I'm curious to see where his head's at for nominating next.
Absolutely. Got TJ Warren still on the board. Obviously, his injury concerns. I have a Brogdon, so I don't think I have much use for TJ Warren right now. Miles Bridges still on the board. Jordan Clarkson, rookie Evan Mobley, a guy we mentioned earlier, Kelly O. Kyle Anderson's always been a well-rounded guy in fantasy that's still available as well as Devontae Graham for those guys that are needing three-point shooters. And then Danny mentioned it earlier, Spencer Dinwiddie, really, really low value for a guy who's probably going to be number 2 in Washington. Kind of crazy. But, the concern with him coming off the ACL, I still think he should go for more than $4 or $5, though. I'd be surprised if he goes this late.
And just a quick recap on where people's kind of budgets are right now. The person with the most money left is Mark at $27, and then Juan Carlos is at $20. But he's only got 3 players left. Other than that, everyone else is pretty round out. So I'm pretty happy with like our position right now in terms of just where players are. I'm trying to find a player, and maybe I'm crazy. All right, here we go. I've been pinging players. Like I don't know if you use the star option at all.
Sometimes, yeah.
But like I have a list of just all the star players of people like that I really want to keep an eye on just in case. Cam Reddish off the board for $1. Maybe a great value, honestly.
Hey, if no one bids on TJ Warren, I'll take him at $1, honestly. But that's kind of the way I see it. And it doesn't look like anybody will. Oh. Thank God. Somebody did. Save me there. Hey, at $2 though, come on. Let's be real, guys. TJ Warren can score the ball. If he can get on the court, that's the bigger concern. But hey, got somebody to spend an extra couple bucks that maybe they weren't anticipating to spend. You take flyers on guys here. Let's see. Dennis Schroeder still available. Dan Gafford.
Great value overall.
Wendell Carter Jr. Sadiq Bey, if you need that late 3-point streamer.
Miles Bridges. You brought him up earlier.
I did. I think Miles Bridges is going to have a better year this year than he even did last year. I don't know if he's necessarily someone I would want to add to my team, but $2-3. Once you see him go to that 4 to 5 range, then you're kind of like, maybe I'll let him slide to somebody else. But we'll
$6 right now, right?
$5, yeah. I'm comfortable with the other Bridges though. Mikhail, that's the guy I wanted, so I feel pretty good there.
All right, my turn to nominate.
Let's see.
I'm conflicted. You know what? I'm just gonna nominate this player. Let's see.
Wow. Dan Gafford. I'm just not willing to. I don't know if I'm willing to invest.
Me neither. Like he was, in terms of my rankings, like he was definitely lower in terms of like my priority spends. But I definitely do want I want someone to spend money on him.
Yeah. He's one of the better blocks guys that are out here. But I think I'm good.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's going for $4. I'm all right. Mark, you can have him.
Same. It's good because Mark has 3 spots left to spend $23. That's kind of what I was talking about. Like, you don't want to have that much left either, because then at that point, you may be just spending more. I mean, even though you have a certain guy that you want, some guys are not going to be worth $5, $6, $7,
Oh, this is a player I really, really wanted.
I can't spend on that. I can't. It's okay. There's going to be value left still.
Yeah, I can't spend $5 right now on him.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick. obviously.
Yeah. And Mark, it worked out because Mark's strategy did pan out there because he was able to bid higher on Olynyk than anybody else. And even if somebody else did want him because he had the most, even though, maybe $5 would be overspent for some people, he still got him what I would consider a good value.
Yeah.
You got Norm Powell here. Not really a guy I'm interested in. I'm kind of punting threes with my team here, so I'm not.
But let's be honest. If you can get him for $2, that's a pretty solid steal.
It's insane.
Oh, there we go. The price started going up.
People will kind of come to their senses. They're like, wait a minute, this guy's a good value. Maybe I should invest a little bit more into him. Let's see. Still have guys like Evan Mobley available. Wendell Carter Jr. is available. Horford, Dinwiddie, Evan Fournier, a guy that we labeled a sleeper, Patrick Williams, Larry Nance Jr. I think is someone that could kind of come out of nowhere and have a good year as well. Let's see, man. DeAndre Hunter, Drummond.
Yeah, I pinged a lot of those guys for later
guys
on.
to keep an eye on.
Oh, someone we had mentioned.
Devontae Graham.
Yes, sir.
Let's see.
I think that this has easily been one of the more competitive drafts I've been in a while.
For sure.
In terms of just strategy, like just people thinking things through, for sure.
Agreed. Okay, I want
$4 for Devontae.
Can we get these bids up to like 5, 6? I want to get guys to come down more than where they're at right now.
Devontae Graham, $4, still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I want Evan Mobley to go up. I want to see what people are willing to spend on him.
Oof, the guy that you and I were talking about.
Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't have much of a use for him, although he does punt me on threes. He kills your field goal percentage. And he's going to take a lot of shots, guys. Definitely be prepared there. But if you built your team around that, then, safe to say you can afford to take that hit.
There are certain things that he does that, he's going for $7 right now. So to your point about spending, people are definitely going to overspend on him. The thing that he does the most for my team's needs, other players do better. So I'm just going to hold out.
Agreed.
Wow. I just filtered to the average dollars. Someone bid $10. The average spend for Naz Reid is $10. I don't understand why that's a thing. Isaiah Roby.
I don't understand that either. Roby. Another OKC Thunder here.
It's another sleeper I think we had where he can easily produce numbers.
He really can. It's easier on a team like OKC. There's not, outside of Shai, there's not going to be those clear-cut guys that, it's easier to make a move in the roster rotation compared to some other teams.
Sadiq Bey.
Yep. See where that goes. Big 3-point streamer here. So whoever is looking to fill out their roster with another shooter, this would be a good value. I've seen him go for $1 or $2 in most drafts that I've done.
Let's see. He's gonna go for $2 to Dame Dollar. Wow. He's gonna have to change his name. Dame Dollar Beal, y'all.
Clearly neither of those guys. So
yeah, come on, guy. Follow the podcast. We drop some fun, crazy, unique names that I know I'm going to use one of them. I have Damian Lillard, so might have to, even though I've never watched the show, might have to Game of Thrones this. Or I could use the Gobert Report.
The Gobert Report.
I like that one.
You got a couple of options.
Oof, yeah.
Let's see. I think Jordan Clarkson's going to go off the board.
Too good to be Drew,
Yeah, plenty of options. And speaking of the podcast, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We are active. We're going to definitely start. We definitely welcome any questions. We've already been starting to answer questions that you guys have had. So definitely let us know. We're here to help you with your fantasy roster setup and everything like that. So use this as a resource. Yeah.
To Brian's point, we love interacting with you guys. We love answering your questions. Some of your guys' questions are definitely challenging, but we love the challenge. We love to try to give you guys as much support and steer you in the best direction possible. So keep interacting with us, and as the season progresses, just keep us on mind. We're obviously going to be covering all the games. We're going to be covering all the fantasy aspects of the games, and we're also just going to be giving our takes in terms of just basketball, like what we believe is going on with the league. I know there's going to be some pretty interesting topics right off the bat when the league kicks off, in terms of just how teams perform. Are the Lakers performing to what we expect? What happens with Kyrie? A lot of the topics that we're going to cover right off the bat. So it's going to be fun, but we definitely want to interact with you guys as much as possible. We love to hear everything you guys have to say.
I'm very happy right now. There's still a lot of guys that I still have an eye on that have not gone off the board, and I'm happy because guys' budgets are starting to shrink a little bit. Roster sizes are starting to shrink, so we're getting down to the last few players. I'd say we probably have about what is that, 7? We probably have about 20 players or so that are left to be picked up. So these are going to be the last guys to kind of make or break or fill out some rosters. So Danny and I still have quite a few spots left, so let's see where we go there.
This is a guy I had on my watch list.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs. Let's see where his bid goes. It's tough, man. When your max offer is 5, you're kind of left down to the point where you can't really bid on a guy. Like you can only do so much. So it's been tough. But sometimes if you see a guy that you really like, you go, you invest it, you try to get the guy and bring him onto your team. And at $4, I think it's worth a shot. Someone may outbid me at 5, and if that's the case, so be it. I believe in Jalen Suggs. I think he's going to have a really good rookie year. And
man, someone just spazzed out.
what happened? Wow, I got Jalen Suggs, and I'm very happy. I think he's going to be the guy in Orlando for sure.
I think so too. I genuinely think as well.
And I'm happy I only got him for $4 instead of 5. That was a win for me. So I got to keep $1. That'll kind of help me. Let me see who I should nominate.
Now you're at the $1 stage, though. You can only get $1 players.
Yeah, I'm going to nominate Jordan Clarkson. I think someone's going to spend $2 for
right off the bat. Yeah,
perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I have no intentions of having Clarkson with his atrocious field goal percentage. I don't need threes because I'm punting 3-pointers. I'm not going to be invested in threes this year. So again, I'm happy with Suggs because I needed assists. Outside of De'Aaron Fox, no one on my team averaged more than 6 assists a game last year. So I think Suggs is going to come in and average right around 5-6 assists, hopefully. So we'll see where that one goes.
Yeah, smart pick. Wow, Jordan Clarkson is up to $5.
Wow, I didn't think he was going to go for that much either, guys. So I'm very happy with that. Wow. Let's see who Kyle nominates next. Oh boy. A lot of positivity in the chat for Jordan Clarkson. But hey, I mean, again, if you need a 3-pointer, if that's the strategy you're going with, then it makes total sense. Personally, I didn't. It's not something that I was really looking into, so not someone I'm super high on personally. But it all depends on your roster construction, what you need. I'm gonna make Kyle. It's okay. Danny and I both wanted Horford. We bid at the same time. Now Juan is going for him at $4. I mean, that's a good value for Horford. Not a lot of bigs left, so
it's great value for Horford, in my opinion.
I agree, especially if a guy like Robert Williams gets hurt. Very possible. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna nominate a player that I've definitely had my eyes on. I think he's gonna be a good value this year. Let's do DeAndre
Hunter. Injury issues were the only thing really stopping him last year, but in the games he played, he played really well. So again, the Hawks are such a deep team. I think my personal thing is what they're going to try to do is they're going to play Cam Reddish a lot of minutes. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to let him do that so they can build his value up and trade him because he's not going to be someone that they need on that team when you already have all those other pieces. So I think Hunter may struggle at the beginning. They may let him kind of rest up. But I think towards the end of the year, you're going to start to see him hopefully ramp up quite a bit.
Jordan Poole. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. People are high on his preseason performance, the fact that
$5
he's going to get a lot of minutes, but I don't know if I'd spend $5 on Poole. Once Klay Thompson comes back, I think he's essentially done. I mean, not done. I think he'll be like the 6th man, so we'll see. Kyle Anderson still available, guys. Derek Favors is still available. Still have Wendell Carter Jr., Thad Young, and now we have Evan Fournier coming off here of the New York Knicks. So let's see where people are at with him. Let's see here. Jordan Poole $5. Evan Fournier looks like $2 to Ofer. And I think Fournier is going to have a good season. Let's see. And Mark's first team to have 13. He's filled out his roster. Let's see. We're getting a couple of guys that are getting pretty close here. Juan has 12. Kyle has 11. Dame Dollar has 12. Ben has 12. Wow. Keldon Johnson for $5. Ugh. As much as I wish I had held more budget, I'm okay. They let him ride. I think he's going to have a breakout season. I've made no qualms about that one. So let's see.
Dude left too much money on the table. He should have bought KPJ.
I mean, yeah, he left with $11, and this is part of what we talked about. You don't want to leave too much for the end because you may have money left over, and I mean, you don't want to end with money left over. You want to have anywhere from $1 to $5. That's what shows that you really maximize.
Oh my God, Aaron Gordon for $5.
Wow, Nathan, really? Hey, but you know what? Why not?
If that's his guy, that's his guy.
Yeah, let's see. Denver's going to go that way. Let's see how everybody else drafts, but I don't think anyone's going to bid more than 5 on Gordon. So I think you could have gotten him for 4, Nathan. I think you could have got him for 3 or 4, but
I agree.
Let's see.
I agree. I think 3 was easily his cap everywhere.
So Steven definitely went ahead and drafted nominated TJ McConnell. Would have been a guy I would have loved, but I can't. I think Danny's going to spend the $4 though.
I needed the assists.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't think anyone else can really outbid you for him.
I needed the assists. This is a guy on my list.
You were holding on to him for sure. And let's see. Nope. Yep. You got him. $4.
I needed them. He was a guy I was very adamant on looking at just because that's where his value is, assists. Agreed. I'm shocked at how many people were bidding on him, though.
Yeah, I agree. So Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, at this point, you're kind of looking at a flyer. I mean, I'll go ahead and put $2 on Wendell Carter Jr. if someone beats me. Hey, Kyle, go ahead, have him for your $3. That brings Kyle down to, out of the bidding wars here, he's going to have 1 spot left with $1. Daniel's really my last competition, along with Juan and Ofer. Everyone else is pretty much down to that $1. Juan having Carmelo Anthony, believing in a renaissance year in LA. And
this guy's going to have, what, 4 Lakers?
4 Lakers. It's 4 Lakers, 2 Heat. Let's see. He's got Westbrook, Braun. He's going to have Westbrook, Braun, and Carmelo now.
And then Kyle Lowry and Duncan.
Yeah.
Interesting strat.
Yeah.
But, hey, now your competition's gone in terms of bidding for the most part.
Yep. He's got his 13, so he's done. And now we kind of just leave it at. And Danny and I think, both need centers, so we'll probably be bidding each other for the remaining centers.
For some Derek Favors.
Probably. Very exciting. And I'll go ahead and bid on Plumlee for 2, and I'll let Danny have him for 3 probably. So we'll go from there.
How did you know?
Ofer got him, so neither of us are getting him. Wow. Danny and I we're gonna have to take some flyers here on some centers. But I hedge my bet with that. I have Giannis, I have Bam. They both play.
Oh my God. Dame came in out of nowhere with $4.
Wow. Really believes in Plumlee. And I could see LaMelo making Plumlee's life very easy, especially if PJ Washington doesn't get off to a good start. I could see Plumlee easily being the center for sure. Lauri Markkanen. It's an interesting one. I'm going to start looking at my roster, kind of, again, constructing what do I need from my team to really fill it out.
You know what? I'll take a flyer on Markkanen.
Yeah. Why not? Well, somebody said not so fast on that flyer on Markkanen. I kind of want Danny to get somebody. I need Danny to spend a little bit of money here. I mean, we're running out. We're literally running out of players here. I'm going to nominate Kyle Anderson. I'm going to see if anybody bids on this guy.
I'm shocked Kyle Anderson hasn't been bid on.
I agree.
Great value. Just overall great player.
Let's see. See, Kyle has 1 pick left. Let's see who he goes with. I'm looking at centers. I mean, I have no problem disclosing that at this point. At this point, it's just a matter of, who people have preferences for.
I kind of want Killian Hayes,
Hmm,
just for the naming purposes.
why?
Centers is pretty slim.
It's bare in big man land right now. I'll tell you guys.
All right, who should I nominate?
Hmm. Big Thaddeus Young fan for sure.
I need a center, bro.
I'll let you have him. I'm not. He wasn't a guy that I was like super high on, to be honest with you. But so be it. Thaddeus Young, $1 to Danny. Jeez. So Steven, Ofer, Daniel, and I still have the most remaining. There's about 15 players left to get picked up here. So I'm not going to bid on Schroeder. I will allow him to fly off that board.
Yeah, me neither.
The worry here is if I nominate somebody that I like, then I can't really bid higher than that. So it's kind of concerning. A guy like Montrezl Harrell might be worth it. I think he's going to come off the bench in Washington, though. It makes me a little concerned. I think he's going to definitely be that backup.
And you know what? I'm willing to take a flyer on Montrez, honestly.
I'm glad you are. I'm very, very happy. Kyle, congratulating everybody on a great auction. Jaden McDaniels, maybe worth a last-minute flyer here. Let's see.
How does Killian Hayes go for $1? And then
Right?
Harold gets bid on.
It's insane.
Am I crazy for not liking Killian Hayes?
No, and it makes me concerned with Cade Cunningham there now. How is that dynamic going to work? I don't know. I'm not high on him. I mean, hey, last minute flyer, maybe it's worth it, but I don't know. Ofer now. Let's see where Ofer's heads is at. He's got $8 left to spend on 5 spots. Dylan Brooks, good last minute flyer. Gonna get you points for sure. And he's pretty well rounded in a lot of categories. Not great field goal efficiency, much like his friend John Morant, but I think it's a good last minute flyer. I've had him in a couple of drafts myself.
All right, so who do you have your eyes on? I'm pretty sure we're both have separate needs at this point.
Yeah, we're looking at bigs here. I don't know, maybe Derek Favors, Nick Claxton could be a good one at the end here. Even a Larry Nance Jr. I mean, I think he's kind of sneaky. Not great with free throw percentage though. That's kind of what's concerning. But this is where again it gets into the scraps for bigs here.
That's why I was willing to put that $2 on Montrez. I got Thaddeus Young, but I was like, let me just have a backup in case.
Just in case. Yeah, I think Danny's pretty much well-rounded with the bigs here. I'm going to look at the centers. I'm going to go Drummond here. And hey, somebody bids on him, so be it. I like his upside. If in the event that Joel Embiid misses time, Drummond is a good fallback center to have. Double-digit rebounds last year. I mean, he's double-digit rebounds every year pretty much, and I'm prepared to tank my free throw percentage anyway with guys like Giannis, so I'm happy with that big pickup at the end for $1. Reggie Jackson, good value for sure.
Oh,
dang! Ofer saw him. He's like, I want him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, I'm not crazy about Reggie. I still have a couple more sleepers on my in my point of view, but I was willing to put him up just to see him get a bid. Nathan's gonna round up his team. Yeah.
Bledsoe, Eric Bledsoe. Again, Danny's a bigger fan of Bledsoe than I am, for those of you. But from what I've heard of Bledsoe, he is going to start this year. So let's see how that one pans out.
I think he's gonna have a bounce back here. I just the way he was being used in New Orleans, I mean, it left a lot to be desired, in my
For
opinion.
sure.
So Steven has $6 left. He has to round out 6 players. So tough times up
I got
ahead.
$6 for 5. So, again, Steven and I waiting again, trying to get the best value possible. I think Steven really wanted Joe Ingles, even though he was only going to spend $1 on him. So I think he's a little annoyed with Ofer that
He was annoyed
Ofer's,
about Harrell as well.
yeah, he is definitely a little annoyed. So, hey, but this is how it goes in fantasy drafts. Sometimes you have to be ready to pivot, be ready to, make that last second move. Nathan is now done with 13 players as well. So we're basically down to the last few picks here. I still think this is where drafts can still be kind of salvaged a little bit. Kawhi Leonard, hey, if he comes back, Jacob, you deserve to have him. I'm not gonna hold him on my roster on my IR for the entire. I mean, maybe it's worth it. We have an IR spot. You can put him there and then put him there and draft another or add somebody from waivers.
But even if he comes back, like how quickly
not
into the fray of things do you think he starts to produce?
I wouldn't expect too much from him. Clay. This is somebody I've thought about.
Really?
Is he worth it?
I mean, can you spend on him though? That's a question.
I can.
Okay.
Did.
Damn.
Let's see.
Damn. It's only as if someone else had their eyes on him.
Go ahead, man. Hey, I'm okay with that.
He was on my list. He was someone I wanted to round out my team with so badly.
He's gonna miss a lot of time, and we don't know what he's gonna look like after missing 2 years. So it's definitely a gamble. But we've
at
seen
this
him go.
way, I was happy with that gamble.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I had a feeling someone would bid, so I kind of had a backup plan. I know who I'm looking at as far as like bigs, because that's really what I feel is what I'm left to kind of fill out my roster. But I'm still looking at other positions, seeing if there's any other sleepers or guys that are kind of worth late round flyers. But we're really getting down into the into the scrums here as far as
Patrick
values.
Williams, man.
Yeah, look at this. Batum.
Why don't you draft Bobby Portis?
Nah,
No?
I already have Giannis and.
All right,
Giannis
solid big man.
Yeah. Let me see here. Where do I want to go? My last nomination here. I'm gonna go Nick Claxton. Let's see. Again, late round flyer. I think that he could end up getting a lot of minutes during the regular season, especially if Brooklyn is going to be obviously as focused on the title as they are, and I think he could potentially be pretty good for them.
Alrighty.
I also like Nick Claxton's upside with blocks. Out of all my players, he actually averaged the most blocks per game last year at 1.3. So that's pretty much the reason. Yeah, that's the reason why I kind of targeted him, had him in mind. I was like, I think I could get him for $1, and that's what it turned out to be. Tyler Hero's going to go for $1.
I was happy rounding out my team like that.
Yeah, there you go. So Daniel's done. You want to read out your team while the last few picks are being decided here to the fans?
Tim Hardaway is on the board right now. Great value, in my opinion.
I almost forgot about Tim Hardaway Jr.
Wow. Yeah, so my team is as follows, guys. Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, Tyrese Halliburton, Michael Porter Jr., Julius Randle, Rob Covington, Rudy Gobert, Thad Young, TJ McConnell, Kyle Anderson, Montrezl Harrell, Klay Thompson, and Tyler Hero. Right off first off, I don't know why Tyler Hero is only listed as a point guard. I'm pretty sure that'll change throughout the season. There's no way they keep that. But second off, what was I going to say? I'm going to put Klay Thompson on my IR spot right away. And then I'll try to pick someone up off the waivers. But overall, I'm happy with my team. I think I got pretty good value all across the board in terms of just potential. So I'm excited for the season to get started.
Yeah, man. I think you did a good job drafting. I'm looking to round out my roster here. I know what I'm looking for. It's
There's still some great value left on the board, man.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
I'm shocked you haven't nominated a guy like your boy D Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see where he goes with the guys that are left right now. What it basically boils down to is just Steven, Ofer, and myself. So we're the last three. This is kind of where I want it to be because I think there's a lot of guys that can be had at $1 that I think have upside. I think Jayshawn Tate is a guy that I just invested in that I think could be that one of those guys. So again, this is where you kind of just take those late round flyers. You see, hey, maybe you can get a guy that can help you with a category or two and go from there.
John Wall,
Yeah,
someone that could potentially help
absolutely.
and be a bargain at $1 later on in the year, of course.
I agree. I don't know where he's going to wound up, to be honest with you. So I'm a little concerned with the John Wall here. Let me see. I think I need another two guard here. I'm looking at Kelly Oubre Jr. I was between him and I think I'm going to take him here.
What about Gary Trent?
Nah.
No.
Trent is a three-pointer specific guy. I don't need threes. Again, I'm punting 3-pointers, so it's not something I've been focused on since my first pick of Giannis. So I think Kelly Oubre lines me up well. He gets you good rebounds. I think he's going to be in a good situation in Charlotte. Hopefully, it pans out well, and he can kind of fill out my roster a little bit. And he's also on a team that I consider is going to be in the playoff contention, but not necessarily a championship contention. So we'll see where that goes for him.
It's Dwight Powell, solid center in my opinion. This late in the round,
absolutely.
All right, cream of the goat.
We're looking real deep at flyers here.
What about your boy D Rose at this point?
No, I'm going with what's his situation here? So Chumo Kiki has a right hip issue. I'm gonna still pick him though because again I believe in his upside, and you never know what goes on in Orlando. You just never know. He could be someone that could help me out later on in the draft for sure, or later on in the season.
Ooh, Matisse Thybulle.
Yep.
Great defensive player.
Yeah, great defensive specialist for sure.
There's a guy that I think we all forgot about that I hope no one drafts so I can put a waiver in on him when Klay Thompson.
Why don't you tell us who it is?
No, because you can still pick up. You can still pick him up.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, fine. I'll tell you. It's Cole Anthony.
Nah, I'm okay on Cole Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm good. Jeez, this is real tough to fill out this roster, man. I don't know who I want to give my last spot to.
I think you should just take a flyer on D Rose.
I think I'm gonna take I gotta take another center just in case, maybe.
You can go on Nas Reed.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I don't get why people are bidding so much on him.
I'm gonna lose on this. I'm gonna go D Rose. Yeah, why not? Worth the value. If Kemba gets hurt, we go from there. Gary Trent Jr. at $1, and I think the last one goes to Steven on whoever he wants to add. So let's see where he goes there. Wow.
Can't believe we did it.
Wow. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, we made it.
Derek Favors went to Steven's team.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you guys are still listening, but thank you guys for making it this far. I mean, this is obviously going to be the league. We're going to keep you guys posted on updates. We can even post the rosters sometime this week. Dan, any thoughts?
No, just again, thank you guys for listening, and be sure to interact with us across all platforms. So on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel. That definitely does help with the YouTube algorithm just to get our content, more and everyone like across the platform and just more exposed to everyone to like look out for it, and comment on the videos. And then on Instagram and on Twitter, just interact with us. Let us know your thoughts overall on all our general posts, and through our podcast streaming services, whether it's Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. Just make sure to listen, subscribe, be on the lookout for upcoming episodes, and share it with friends. We continue to want and expect feedback from you guys. We appreciate it. This draft wouldn't have been possible without everyone's interaction. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it for us. All right, signing off, guys. Take it easy.